Early possessions for Clark, and 100% always uses the ball well, the former Cat. First opportunity for the Demons. Van Rooyen, playing the role of the ruckman. Pearce just steams through a couple, only as far as Langford. Rivers, just a little low ball inside. Over towards Giath, gets the hand pass away. Ryan gets his first opportunity, taps it in front of himself. Dudley working at both ends. Good tackle. Surely rewarded. Umpire.
Giants dispirited forward. Fonte, Canelio, Himmelberg threw the boot out in hope. A partial result only. Wilson out to the wing. Marshall, look at the crunch. Bones are rattled. We're down to 6 seconds. The Saints, I think they're going to hang on. Callahan, it's all or nothing. And the siren goes. What a start for the Freo Star.
Good use of the stand rule there from Shea Bolton as well. Had his man on the mark, stuck, close in range. Brayshaw snuck around the outside. You're actually able to buy sort of 2 or 3 metres. You get yourself inside 50 and have a shot like that. Excellent finish there from Andrew Brayshaw.
Coming off his fewest disposals in a game since
Russell, it was early in the season when
start today.
Murphy Reid looks dangerous. He looks good around the footy. Very creative with his 3 disposals. Talk about creative. Bolton swoops onto it. Works one out in the left foot. Just get it over the back towards Johnson. He's got a nice turn of pace. On to Brayshaw again. Just came above his head. There's Reid. Man, we just spoke about over the top of him. Goes back Reid. Now Clark. Just trying to punch it through. And there's Brayshaw again. He could go back and have a shot for his second.
Yeah, the mids for Melbourne. They're retreating too quickly to get back to help their defenders, and they're just leaving pockets of space for Bolton and Brayshaw to work into.
20-plus disposal in his last 13 matches on his home deck. 7 goals in 24 matches last year. He's not keen on the distance, and it's well cut off. Coming the other way, Sparrow got a hand on it. Now Salem drives it to the outer side, bouncing ball, and it'll clear everyone.
It's touched off the boot, in fact, so not a lasso free kick. We'll get a boundary throw-in. Jackson and Gore haven't played against each other the last 2 times. Fremantle and Melbourne have met. They'll go a long way to deciding the result. Bolton and Dudley got involved. Bolton to Johnson to Clark. And a long kick back inside 50. Tracy the wrestle, but terrific mark taken by Turner.
Yeah, great mark by Turner there. He's got the big job on Josh Tracy. Tracy looks even bigger after the off-season. Turner's fitted in nicely down back, though.
Play on.
Rivers called to go.
Outside 5.
Puts up the former Hawk, Jaff. Sub in the Hawks 3 finals last year before he came across to Melbourne. Hugs the outer side. And Ryan got good position. Coming the other way, McDonald again out towards Brayshaw. Chandler. Ryan. Donald's hand pass a little bit errant. Opens the door for Cully. Clever use of the footy. Now there's an opportunity for the Demons in the hands of Myercheck.
Got Cozzy picking on short if he wants him.
Why wouldn't you? Cozzy leaves it for Langdon, who I think would have preferred it in the hands of Cozzy.
And I think Cozzy did too. He just couldn't quite reach it. He just couldn't quite get there, could he? But I think this is really clever from Max Gawn. So last weekend we saw De Koning working up high and trying to draw Max out of his defensive 50, not allowing him to get back and do support. Well, he's flipped the script. He's now doing that to Jackson, trying to hold 50, 60, 70 from goal and drawing Jackson out.
Traded by Fremantle back in 2019 in his 12th season from a tight angle. Takes on the responsibility and delivers. Rivers. Opening goal for the Demons.
Well, we wanted the ball in Cosy Pickett's hands, but maybe it did get into the right hands there. That is an incredible finish. See the turnover. Cosy's at that contest there. He's going up to centre bounce at the moment. Good chip round the corner. Brody Mychek still scanning, probably just out of range there. Had two options, so Fremantle retreating too far there and allowing a pocket for the two Melbourne players pop up into it, and Langdon kicks truly from the pocket.
Ed Langdon, former Docker out there playing for the Demons. There's actually 4 former Demons playing for the Dockers out there today, which is a little unusual. Jackson, McVie, Wagner and Oscar McDonald. So a crossover between these two sides. Goal each way to begin. Jackson leaping early. Gawn kept his eyes on the footy. Sarong tried to lay a tackle. Tolstrup inside 50. Sizzling kick in, but Mark intercepted by Hicks. Good Chapman. Wagner. Side again.
This is where Melbourne have to trap Fremantle. Already once they've been able to come through the middle of them. Got to force them wide, force them long.
Wagner does have to go long. Big pack on the wing. They're all up. Away, but roving into Switkowski, and again they explode out the front. Amos trying to get on that left boot and get it out the back towards Tracy. Good punch by Petty, and they might escape. Back Langdon, dangerous handball, put Rivers under the pump, forces the turnover. O'Driscoll, Tracy, Melbourne still trying to recover. Langdon went back in again. Rivers might get away. Tolstrup inboard, lost it. Brayshaw stole it. Murphy Reid doesn't need much room, just got it back. Sherry with a touch on the boot to Tracy. Beat it back, look out! Oscar McDonald took way too long and then handballs over the line. Last disposal, free kick, goes to the Demons. Good scramble there from Melbourne. Kept the pressure up.
Sorry to jump in there, Kenny. Tight tag on Caleb Sarong. He's had just the 2 touches. Colton Tolstrup, who had Nazar Wangan and Miller last week, has him this week.
Started well. Hand pass was to Cosy. There's those hand pass procedures we were talking about, King, but they weren't able to connect that time. Opportunity for Johnson from outside. Long, an accurate ball. Wonderful finish by Johnson. And the Dockers get their second.
Yeah, and it's going to go down as an error, and I think you've got to live with this. Nothing's going to be perfect. It's not going to be ideal every time you play that way. I think this is the right idea. Just a strange spot for Cosy to go to get the handball received. He was too close to the man on the mark in the end. But he's going to pay the bills more often than not, Cosy. I'm still encouraging the Demons, particularly their back 6, to give him the ball on the fly like that. Great finish there again.
It was excellent from the Dockers there to get back onto the ball once that error was made. Turning the ball over quickly. Those fast turnovers, they result in really good looks ahead of the ball. Excellent work there.
Coming for career best 18 games, Matt Johnson. Darcy into the rucker post to Petty. Getting the hit out with the reach. Sarong and Steele. Sarong willed himself onto it. Trying to send it forward. Salem soccering the footy wide. Tough and sharp. Wagner with the pressure. Pushing up inside 50. Ball pinballing around. Sherry was clean down low. Johnson missed. Murphy Reid. Cosy Pickett, he lost it as well. So they're under the pump here. Good handball on the up. Murphy Reid on the fly. A quick snap and another goal goes the Dockers' way. A little give just opening up that pocket of space, and he doesn't need much room.
Just look jittery down back at ground level at the moment. Melbourne concerns for that man there on screen, Stephen King. It's Christian Salem who comes into this contest, and you'd love him just to try and pick this ball up here. The first soccer was on, but this one here, you just got to go in and pick it up. You can't just soccer it like that. And then the Dockers, they smell blood. Another fumble and an excellent goal.
Well, right now, I think it's 6 fumbles to Melbourne, 0 to Freo. That's the gap. Got to handle the heat on the road. Young team, old team. They're actually more experienced today, Melbourne, than Fremantle.
Just a little touch shaky in defence at the moment, the Demons. Pickett in the middle. Nice little feint. Steps around a couple. He'll burn off Jackson. Low piercing ball forward. Coming back is Pearce, looking into the sun. Sparrow out to Myercheck. Tries to create something inside 50. Van Rooyen's got no room to operate. Clark Chapman tries to get it back to his skipper. Latrell Pickett comes in. He's sat on by McDonald, won't go anywhere.
Saw Latrell Pickett last week roaming the expanses of the MCG with the absolute blistering pace. Can't wait to see what he brings tonight.
On his boundary side here, hoping that it spilt through. It's McVee, the former Demon, up the line. Tracy will win the free kick. An advantage will be taken, and it's Sherry who wants to put the afterburners on himself and show his running skills. And the long kick, trying to put it in the path of O'Driscoll. Houses back there, 2-on-2. O'Driscoll now to Voss in the pocket. Stab pass. Amos dropped the mark. Slap back in Voss's direction. Just wants to go brute strength and a high fend off. In fact, no, he was taken high. And Voss is going to get the free. Needs a little bit more composure, does Jeff. A couple of times he's fumbled. It's a costly free kick to give away. I think they both got each other high in that incident, didn't they? First one from Voss went up around the chin, and Jeff had his arms over the shoulder. And Fremantle have the free. And Patrick Voss trying to get the radar going, bringing it back to perfection. And the pony is away.
Well, the pressure on this Melbourne back six and this defence at the moment is immense from Fremantle, but they're not helping themselves, Melbourne. The ball hits the ground and they just look all at sea. Not sure what Jake Lever was doing here. Straight back to Patrick Voss. Just puts more pressure there. Just pick the ball up, keep your feet. Dubious free kick. You could have given it either way. He celebrated one early last week that was given a point. That one there, straight through the middle from Patrick Voss.
Enjoys the goal. 0 goals, 3 last week for Patrick Voss, and he's happy to open his account for 2026.
+7 inside 50s, the home side, +28 disposals. So they're dominating the first quarter in their first outing at home. Darcy in the middle, taps it to his team's advantage. Bouncing ball, Giaff provides the pressure. Steaming through Erasmus. Here comes Sherry, the debutant. A couple of nice early signs from him. Just struggling to get out of defensive 50, the Demons.
They just look jittery, Howie. They're all panicking. Quick handballs. They want to take the responsibility, make it someone else's issue. Darcy will hit out to the advantage of Murphy Reid or Erasmus. Now Bolton to Clark. Chips the kick to perfection for the lead of Tracy. Fremantle are on early. See, their forwards are lighting up here. They can smell a kill. Leads are coming from everywhere. That is a high quality lead from Tracy. Timed that to perfection. He's got absolute vice-like grip on that football in the lead. 2 goals last week against the Cats. Looks set for a big season. He's missed in the past. It's always out to the right. He aims left-hand goal post instead. He knew it, and it straightened up beautifully.
Well, Jordan Clark's getting off the chain here. He originally was lined up on Pickett, Isaiah Pickett that is. He's had 9 disposals and 3 score involvements, roaming around at the moment. But once again, Melbourne just jittery at ground levels. Christian Salem again just kicking the ball off the ground. Got to bend over and pick it up, take the contest. They're just not handling the pressure at the moment. Too many little half-hand balls. The pressure is on, sometimes just dump and kick forward. Their own worst enemies at the moment, Melbourne. Justin Longmuir couldn't have asked for a better start from his 2 key forwards. Josh Tracy and Patrick Voss, the last 2 goals to them.
Tracy, 45 goals in 24, backed up with 44 last year, and he looks fitter and stronger than he ever has. Big pre-season. Chandler finally sending the Demons inside 50. Long lead dropped by Myercheck under no real pressure. Again, Melbourne with a touch of the fumbles.
Max spent 5 minutes on the bench. They kicked 3 goals in 5 minutes, Fremantle. Get him back out there. He's back in the ruck now. And we saw getting back to his feet there. Myercheck Got a ton of ball from Gawn. Erasmus clean at the contest. Wagner out to Brayshaw. Again, they run and support. Wagner drives it up to the 2-on-2. Some holding going on, and it goes to Amos. And Sarong's gone down off the ball.
Play 50 metres against Tolstrup.
Yeah,
Tolstrup was there. It's going.
Yeah, it's right in front of me, boys. This is the tight tag off the ball. It's Tolstrup on Sarong. Freo have been getting into him a lot. He's gone too early. Dropped Sarong off the footy.
A bit going on off the ball. More headaches for Stephen King. And Jai Amos taken much closer to goal after that 50-metre penalty. Still going on as they go to the bench. Tolstrup and Voss, who's not afraid to have a bit of a chat out there, getting stuck in. Jai Amos, goal last week, but quite with just the 4 disposals. And he's looking to get his season going. And he misses out to the left. And a shake of the head is the only result.
So a missed opportunity for the Dockers. Salem, deep in defence. Searches the back flank, couple of flyers. Turner's been good in the air. The umpire will separate.
Really looked like a kick out. Set play there, Turner trying to get a mismatch on the half-forward flank.
Darcy wrestling with Gawn, Erasmus and Johnson. And busy to start. Johnson just that hooking ball off the left. Amison pushing sharp. Good spoil from Turner. Jackson trying to turn her over. Back to Amos. Next step finds Dudley. Working in a tight space. Wanted Tracy. They slipped over and Chandler couldn't believe his luck when he could take the uncontested mark.
Chandler takes ground. Driving ball to the outer side. Ryan fist spoils it. He's done so many times in his career. Brayshaw kicked the opener. Tries to squeeze his way through a gap. Now O'Driscoll with a sweeping hand pass. Bolton, danger again for the Demons. From outside range, crowd tells you everything you need to know. Dockers absolutely dominating the Demons.
And Max gets straight to his back six. Look at the captain getting down there saying, hey boys, settle this down. We're panicking here. Just relax. Relax. Coughed up 6 goals in 20 minutes of footy. Less risks. This is great from Fremantle. Being able to pounce and punish is what's become modern footy in 2026. You get your opportunities, you've got to make them pay. And from downtown Bolton, absolutely struck it pure.
Being smacked in contested possessions at the moment, Melbourne, minus 14. So that's toughness, and then work rate, ground balls at the moment, minus 12. So beaten on the inside and beaten on the outside.
Fremantle flying out of the blocks for a second week in a row.
Advantage.
52 points against the Cats last week as get the advantage out the middle, looking into the sunshine. It was a tough one to mark. McVee squeezes a kick wide. Erasmus with some basketball skills, tapping it to his advantage and kept it in play. And a few extra metres. Lever led to the footy. O'Driscoll. Fremantle have numbers on the outside if it breaks, but the D's hold firm. Steele twisting and turning and wobbling a kick forward. Erasmus couldn't handle it initially. Now it's got some issues. There'll be a ball up.
I'm watching Max Gawn work away from the stoppages. Doesn't look like he's moving. I think he's incredibly sore, Max. He's not covering the ground like we know he can. And why wouldn't he be after last week's heroics?
Didn't have a rest after the 16th minute mark of the third term. And last week's win versus the Saints, again flowing football. There's men out everywhere. Inside, deep, all the way. Nearly for the debutant. What a way that would have been to bring up his first AFL goal.
There's a shocking trade up there from a Melbourne player coming up, giving the free out the back. There's a critical point where you've got to decide not to trade up and actually stick back on your man and make the ball, man with the ball make the decision. Don't make it for him.
So he's under the pump. They go in the direction of Max Gawn. Well, why wouldn't you? Such a target. Good set of hands up towards Pickett. An important punch away from McVee, but Cozzy can get out the back and use his pace. Options on in the pocket for Fritsch. And he'll look inboard. He's got some opportunities with a centering kick for Rivers, who's drifted down.
Yeah, that's
The talk about star factor impacting your fortunes goes to Max to Cozzy. I mean, that's as good as it gets. You're always going to get something productive there. A contested mark. It's got in behind Sean Darcy there, Big Max.
Keep clearing out, guys. Keep clearing out. Shay, Caleb.
Do they need this?
Trent Rivers drafted out of WA the same year that Luke Jackson went across to the Demons. 32 back in 2019. Back at home. Melbourne need it. And Rivers hits the post. So near, yet far for Melbourne. Drastically need a couple of goals.
What are you doing for Stephen King, Jack?
Well, at the moment, I think you're getting your best ball winners around the ball. Just holding it up at the moment. They just can't get their hands on the ball. Beaten in the contest.
They're down possessions. Another turnover, 97 to 53. Good grab in the middle. Another opportunity. Brayshaw started the game off with the opening goal. Back to Wagner. They've got runners everywhere, the Dockers. Men out the back. Coming back. Did well not to give away a free kick turn. Did really well. And they scramble it through from behind, but they are in all sorts of pressure and defence at the moment, the D's.
They need to really focus on setting the ground up, Melbourne, as well, making it nice and big, try and make Fremantle defend. At the moment, the Dockers only have to do a little bit of defence.
House places the kick for Windsor. Out of bounds on the full, the call. So those little 50-50 things not going Melbourne's way. Brayshaw's been very busy in this opening quarter. Looked inboard initially. Will go up. Dudley not really the target in amongst Max Gawn and a couple of others.
That's a challenge for Sean Darcy there. Can't let Max Gawn just lead you to the ball.
Brayshaw had 14 touches in the entire game last week, boys. That was his 13th disposal going inside 50 in his first quarter.
Yeah, and they've kicked 6 goals, 5 in the first quarter, 48. 8 goals, 4 last week in the first quarter. Fast start again. High handball, high speed game from Freo.
And a goal for Brayshaw as well, Scully. 184 metres game. Clark with 211 already. Contested ball out of side. Van Rooyen hasn't seen many opportunities inside 50. And now we've got Lassu coming out.
Just cannot get it out of their own D50 or D half at the moment. Melbourne, repeat entries.
Oscar McDonald will send it long. Tracy with 3 to beat. Jath was there. The Tracy follows up down low. Sherry involved again. Switkowski to Jackson. Too wide.
Even that their lack of communication. You don't need 3 flying against one with Josh Tracy. Leave extra numbers at the ground. Leaves you really vulnerable for the crumb. It's only a matter of skill execution from Luke Jackson. Would have been another goal.
Needs to reset things. Target's hard to find at the moment. For the Demons down towards Gawn. Johnson front and centre, perfect. He already kicked 1 long goal. Johnson again from range. This time doesn't have the accuracy, just a touch skinny.
Yeah, this can often happen when you're dominating like this. Everyone wants to hit the goal sheet. There's targets out everywhere. A little bit of composure. They'll take uncontested mark after uncontested mark inside their forward 50 if they think team first.
21 inside 57 in this opening quarter. It's been an onslaught from Fremantle in their forward half. Plenty of sets of hands there. Hetty goes back in to try and win it. McVee, O'Driscoll, Dockers keep it alive. Brayshaw rockets the handball to Clark. Up and under, give his forwards a chance, and it's Tracy who stands tallest.
Wow. What a presence he is, Jack, inside the forward 50. If in any doubt, just go to this man.
Been one of the best players at marking the ball inside 50 over the last 3 years. This is another element of his game. You look at the size of him there, can start getting these big aerial contests going. See his career set shots at goal from this spot here.
Off the rookie list in 2020, Josh Tracy. Josh Tracy looks like he's ready to emerge as a real powerhouse.
Well, they've been searching for that big key forward for a while, Fremantle. And this man has the #1 mantle now. Good handball again, Jordan Clark. Well, he's absolutely dominated this first quarter. Andrew Brayshaw's had 14, Clark's had 10. Had 4 score involvements, but that is good execution there. Get your arms free and catch it at the highest point. Great traits of Josh Tracy.
There's a real outlier for Fremantle on the stat sheet. They haven't had a player kick 50 goals in a season since 2012. It is such a long time ago since Matthew Pavlich. Every other club has had someone since 2022, and that's the last 5 years of their leading goal kickers, Josh Tracy, building to that mark.
Melbourne need to come up with some answers or just slow things down before the first break. Steele. Again, no real penetration with the kick. Clark, 255 metres gained. Erasmus has enough time to go back and get his football. Johnson being prevalent early. Now McVie against his own side. Creates a bit of space and gives up ground.
Well, the problem is, Howie, they've had 22 inside 50 so far in the first quarter. You're worried about him kicking 50. You might get him this afternoon, perhaps, at this rate.
Fremantle, over the last few seasons, they've been traditionally slow starters. So it's something they've changed perhaps to just begin games well. So often they've been chasing in recent years as Murphy, what a kick, the placement. He just lofted it with a little flop shot over the top to find Dudley.
And that's what we're talking about. There are uncontested marking options everywhere. If you've just got a fraction of time and a little bit of composure, Murphy Reid, well, he's shown that in spades in his first 26 games, but to be able to assess that situation so quickly and not be selfish allows them to cash in again.
Perfect placement with the kick. And Dudley with the opportunity. Another one wasted, though. In fact, he's missed it by quite a margin in the end, but the amount of scoring shots, 14, plus a couple of others they could have had in this opening term.
23 inside 50 to 7 at the moment.
Petty. Long clearing ball. And Ryan flies.
5 goals already from intercept from Fremantle. Dominated the airways and the ground level.
Gorn in front of Jackson.
Look, Max. Just keep the meter till it's thrown.
Fremantle with the 2 rucks in their side. Jackson and Darcy. Max Gorn and Petty doing the ruck work for the D's. As that one fell in short, Jackson read it quickest. Able to get there and then tumble the ball up towards Voss. And just kicked it in front of him. Bolton. Get out of some trouble. Empty down there. Gave it back to Bolton. Not much room. High one. Freo have the numbers advantage. Who can judge it in the sky? Fridge gets back to help. And get out of trouble. Langford's kick run as far as Ryan. Crowd on 50. Did pretty well to hold him up. So it's done by Langdon just to allow everyone to get back. Ryan's just going to drive it deep as the seconds tick down. Tracy Jackson, Gorn is there. And he does so much for this side. And he gets back to save that opportunity. Now they have been on the back foot in this opening quarter. Have the Demons, the Freo fans. The first quarter at home as Voss and Petty get into it. It's really stirring the pot as we go to the break. And he wants to get onto it too. Going with the crying. Patrick Voss doesn't mind getting stuck into the opposition. They're feeling good about themselves, Fremantle, as they continue to chirp out there. Nice smile from Max Gorn. Got a lot of work to do for the Demons. Fremantle flying at the first change. Patrick Voss is fired up. 42 points is the lead.
Well, there we go, folks. Quarter time at Optus Stadium. Thank you, Mother, for the Rabbits. It's the Fremantle Dockers, 7-7-49, leading Melbourne 1-1-7. 14 scoring shots just to the 2. I'll tell you what, Melbourne can't get their hand on the ball. It's been all one-way traffic here. Optus Stadium here in Perth. Fremantle Dockers getting the job done in the opening term. Hey, Just because they've got a margin of 42 points here at quarter time, they can't rest on their laurels. They need to keep doing what they're doing. And, of course, the Prancing Pony giving it to a couple of the Melbourne players there at the quarter time break. I'm sure they'll remember that. Hopefully that doesn't come back to put a halt to the Prancing Pony, but great to see him up and about. And, of course, some of the other boys having a ring-a-ding-ding first quarter. All right, let's go and check out the goal scorers. For all the stats fans out there, of course, we might as well start off with Melbourne because they've just got the one goal. That's Ed Langdon. He got one single goal there for Melbourne. Let's head on over to the Fremantle Dockers. And, of course, Josh Tracy looks good up there. He's had 2 kicks, 100% going at goal. 2 straight goals, Josh Tracy. The Prancing Pony, he hit the board in the opening term. He's got one. Murphy Reid, the superstar, he's got one also. Matty Johnson and Andy Brayshaw and Shai Bolton. Let's go and have a little bit of a look at some of these stats before the commentators come back and we head down to the second quarter. Well, we've got the top 3 players, of course, are all Fremantle Dockers. Of course, Andy Brayshaw, 14 touches in the opening term. He only had about 15 total last week. He's already got 14, folks, 14 touches. 3 kicks, 11 handballs, 2 marks, and he's kicked a sausage roll. What a ring-a-ding-ding opening term from him. And Shai Bolton, of course, 12 disposals. He's had 5 and 7. He's had a mark, couple tackles, 4 clearances, 1 goal, 1. Tell you what, just as impressive is his quarter when he's up and about. I tell you what, he can make a little bit of magic happen there for the Dockers. Jordan Clark next on best with 11. And, of course, the best for Melbourne is Christian Salem. He's on 10 disposals. 9 kicks, 1 handball and a mark. There are only 4 players in double figures up until quarter time, and that is them. Howdy, Albert, how you going? A nice win for the St Kilda today. Yeah, won it ever. They did a good job, St Kilda. I just saw a little bit of that game, but yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Giants, but the coach certainly wasn't happy down there with the Giants. St Kilda getting the job done nicely. I'm sure Ross Lyon will be having a little bit of a smile on his dial there. Matty Johnson, Aramis, both on 9 touches in the opening turn there for the Dockers. It's all Dockers, as you can see, down the list on the disposal count. Where are we going? There we go. Murphy Reid on 8 with that goal. 4 kicks, 4 handballs. Let's roll on down a little bit more. Luke Jackson, be great to see him do well. I'll tell you what, he's got a tough opponent in Maxi Gawn. Probably one of the best ruckman in the competition, so it'll be good to see how he goes because both players are good, agile around the ground. There we go, 6 touches, 2 kicks, 4 handballs. He's had just the 2 hit-outs, so it'll be interesting to see when he hit-outs Maxi Gawn's had. As I said, Josh Tracy's going well. 5 touches. There's Maxi Gawn there, 5 touches. Opposing ruckman, 3 kicks, 2 handballs, 3 marks, 5 hit-outs, 2 clearances. So they're pretty much on par, the big men, for either side. There we go. Caleb Strong just on the 4 touches. So good news for Fremantle. He's just been quiet. And Fremantle are doing well. So I'm sure he'll get into the game. As will Isaac Dudley. He's just had the 4 touches, 1 behind. He had a shot on goal but didn't quite get there. There we go. Giant, just the 3 touches with Blake Howies for Melbourne. All right, let's just have a look at the team stats. And you can see the domination that Melbourne can't really get their hand on the ball. After the opening term, 127 disposals, Freo, 73 Melbourne. There we go. That's nearly doubled. I know it's not quite doubled, but it's nearly doubled in the disposal count. The Dockers only 329 on season average. They're a third of the way there. So they're doing extremely well. And if you have a look at the inside 50s, super duper dangerous there. 14 scoring shots for the Dockers. They've been inside 25 times. Thank your mother for the Rabbits. As I said, their season average is 46. So they're already halfway there. Melbourne, however, only the 7 inside 50s in that opening term. They've got a lot of work to do, Melbourne. So we'll see what Stevie King down there will, what words he'll give to his players, get them back on track. You picked the Rabbitohs to win today. Yeah, the Rabbitohs are leading. 6.5 minutes to go in the opening half there. 12-0. They're playing the West Tigers. 12-0. The Rabbitohs are winning. All right, let's head back down to the action. And we'll head down there for the bounce of the ball for the second quarter, where it's the Dockers big leaders at quarter time by 42 points.
Contest and on the spread, so you're pretty much playing one down at the moment with Tolstrup in there and Sarong. Shea Bolton's coming up from the half-forward line and getting involved. There's another pseudo midfielder there. Jordan Clark's been great off the back part of the stoppage as well, and they are absolutely killing their backs because they cannot win the ball. Minus 18 inside 50s, can you?
Well, they've had 25 inside 50s, and at that rate, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're doing as a defender. You're just trying to fight a reasonable fight. 14 scores from the 25 inside 50s. I love what Josh Tracy's been able to do. He's brought the ball to ground. Only Max Gawn's been the only one to take an intercept mark in the defensive 50 and disrupt Fremantle. So really, for me, it's not about matchup. I mean, you look at the Sarong discussion. At least they've got one winner out there. Tolstrup's done the job on Sarong. It's not necessarily that matchup in isolation that's hurting them. Their defenders have looked jittery, Melbourne. They've fumbled the ball. They've kicked the ball off the ground instead of putting their nose over it and taking it cleanly. Haven't been prepared to take the hits, and they've paid a heavy price on turnover.
Well, there's the answer to our questions there.
Yeah, I wouldn't give up on it either.
Holstrom.
That's a winner for you at the moment. Sarong's had 2 kicks.
There's been a lot of chat out there. We're still continuing to discuss things.
Yeah, he gave away a 50, which was pretty costly. Well, it could have been costly. It wasn't in the end. But what a start from Freo. 14 scores, 49 points in a quarter of football.
Flying out of the blocks again.
They had this last week, though. So let's see whether they stay with this freedom or they clamp up.
Jackson with intent, leaping in the middle, second quarter underway. Fremantle and Melbourne from Optus Stadium, a volley across from Brayshaw, a little dangerous. Does he pick it onto it quickly? And held up immediately. Changes will we see? Is that ball smashed wide? Brayshaw tried to fend, just got rid of it in time to Wagner, who's provided plenty of bounce. And a run on the wing as the kick from Voss goes inside 50. Tracy presenting again. Rivers off hands. Chandler. And the Demons get out of their back half. A long lead up from Van Rooyen.
Back 2 metres, back 2 metres.
D's off half back. No short options, nothing laterally. He has to go straight down the line, which that'll suit Ryan. Brings it to ground. There is Sarong. O'Driscoll. Now Brayshaw. Van Rooyen again, spending some time in the back half.
So when they can force them to quick kick, then they're a chance to defend. But right now, 50 there, would man the mark correctly. So at quarter time, they'd had 128 metres game by hand Freo. They're out and gone everywhere. I mean, they were going for 232 a game last year. So that just shows you that they're absolutely out and clear and working harder than Melbourne.
Van Rooyen in short. Tolstrup, able to hold on.
In no rush to get the ball back here, and allowing all the Dockers players to get behind.
Almost all of them.
Only DJI Miss is the only one not behind the kicker at the moment.
Tolstrup is going to tee it up in hope. Looking for someone to launch. Dockers had lots of numbers back there. Jackson was helping out. In and under was sharp.
Just don't look dynamic with the ball there. Tolstrup just takes his time to pick it up, go back, allow all the numbers to get back and actually look dangerous. Dart your eyes around.
Jackson Gawn Harvard. Close to the boundary line. Tackle over and out.
Max will be looking for Kossi on the fly here. Got a great relationship these two they've built over the last 12 months.
Gawn did look out the back. No one was there. Warner, Sarong, Tolstrup right on him, as he has been for the entirety of the afternoon. Clark trying to stop any run from Pickett. Bolton comes the other way, shoves him away. Ryan, end over end out of defence. Salem with a one arm. Sharp. A couple of Dockers restrict him.
In there physically again. There's a lot of discussions going on. And stuck right into Petty and Gawn at the quarter time break. Keep an eye on that as the game progresses. Get another stoppage. Gawn and Jackson. Gawn, the hit out. Wagner lost it. Sharp had the head down. Is there high contact? Right, going to be a ball up.
And it's underrated what they're doing defensively. I mean, they've almost doubled them for possessions. Fremantle probably 60-odd more possessions, yet they lead the tackle count.
Would slap the footy away. Lost some territory. Windsor. A high kick. Cozzy Pickett went up and under. Spectacular in the end. Could have been a nasty landing. That one socked it away. And a lasso free kick.
It's another silly kick there from Christian Salem. Here's that absolute hand. He caught him between his feet there, Cozzy Pickett. That is a big jump.
Over the top of Tracy. Voss. It's the second time. Two number 3s compete. Salem the winner. Nice bit of body work to take the mark. Steele. Just work one down the line. A couple of demons confuse each other. Everything going wrong for Melbourne at the moment. Pearce rides the tackle and sees it across the line. There's no flow for Melbourne, Jack. There's no short passes. There's no options. They're having to kick down the line time and time again.
They're being well held by Fremantle at the moment. I think it's Fremantle's defence more than Melbourne's offence.
Vaughan palms it down. Tolstrup right there with Sarong. Vaughan kick up to the 50. He's just escaping from Myercheck. Wants to take off. Ran himself into some trouble. Back to Clark. Wagner. Murphy Reid calling someone to lead at him as he guides the pass up to Amos and Voss. That carries over the line. Possession back to the D's.
This is where you'd love to see some urgency. Set the ground up nice and wide, shift the ball.
Again, a long kick down the line from Lever. Underneath it was Myercheck. Sharp with a bit of rare space. Sends it all the way to the teeth of goals. Good finish. Sharp nails Melbourne's second goal and they get the second term underway.
Oh, it's a great crumb. Oh, just an individual act of brilliance here, really. To take that clean and then just size it up instantly. Not try and overkick the ball. Just steered it through an empty goal square. Well done.
I'd love to see better effort there from Jordan Clark, who's defending Sharp. Came into the contest, meandered into the back. Sharp went to the right spot at the front.
First goal for the D's since the 8-minute mark of the first quarter. Hoping to get a few consecutively to try to get themselves back into it after such a furious start from Freo. As we go back to the centre, and Jackson crosses the line there. He did. So the free kick goes the way of Gawn, and I'll get it out of the centre. Windsor driving ball. Van Rooyen hands to it. Good punch, McDonald. Steele on the follow. Very nearly a couple of quick ones for Melbourne, but well off target.
Choice, that one, Jim.
Strange choice, wasn't it? Running straight at goal. You just would have thought an old-fashioned drop pump would have got the job done.
Ryan was emergency awaiting for Walker. He was sore.
It's a couple of times across the line now for Jackson.
Wagner. It was rather central. Salem has been one of Melbourne's better players. 230 metres gained, come out for his 13th disposal. Too much presents inboard, so sends it inside 50 again. Pearce. Myercheck tries to step through the right. Tackle, who's having none of it, Luke.
Fighting for his spot out there, Luke Ryan, after being overlooked early. He'll be playing with plenty of intent.
We've seen him with a big spoil and now a big tackle. Welcome back.
So with Warner. A slower start to this second term for a flurry of goals in that first quarter. Gawn set up again. So it's a dominant presence in the air. And the back. House. And then misses with the kick, trying to go off the outside of the boot. Straight into Jackson. He can make amends for the error. Just go with a high one inside 50. Cozzy trying to get through the pack. Steele with good hands. Chandler pokes it through. Van Rooyen, he dropped the mark. And he had it covered. He was about to swallow it up. Sharp instead steps around. They've made hard work of it, the D's. And could have rushed to behind there, Fremantle. McVie kept it in play. And then Clark just bombs one. It's back in the Gorn direction. Amos had to fight against a few. And it goes out of play for a boundary throw-in.
Well, he wouldn't believe he could drop that. After how he played last week, Jacob Van Rooyen, he marked everything. At full speed, in front of the eyes. That was just a soda.
First time Melbourne's had any momentum in the game so far. Steele. Good second turn. Away from Cully. Chandler at ground level. And Warner wraps him up.
The positive signs for Melbourne is they're not getting smashed around the middle of the ground at the moment. 25 possessions apiece this second quarter.
Much more even in the second term. It's Jackson. Obviously winning the hit out down. Bolt's been very busy. Ryan tried to manufacture a kick out of defence. It's been turned over. And Steele, see where the mark is set. And think about launching one.
It was great work from Cozzy Pickett there. He was on the fly to get the hit to advantage. It didn't come his way. And he just followed up and put pressure on. And just see him coming through there just enough to force the quick kick.
Jack Steele making the switch in the off-season. Started his career at the Giants in 185 games at the Saints. Leading his leadership, a former St Kilda captain. Trying to find one late. Cully was up in the pack, rising but off hands and are behind the result.
Boys, Daniel Turner's just headed downstairs. Looks like he's got a finger injury, so laying behind the footy going to be even further stretched.
Let's go. Clark. Death in best position. So a good little patch this for Melbourne. Can I hit the board a couple more times?
That has to be 50. That has to be 50 with one standing lateral to the man on the mark.
Windsor, have a look at that momentarily. Chandler on the left, tries to punch a little ball into the pocket from behind. It's a good flight from Myercheck. Taps it back to himself. Here's Pickett. Whips it out, running into traffic. He's Langford. He's got enough strength to burst his way through. Steele's had a good turn. Windsor runs in to Tracy, and he'll feel every part of that tackle. Now the Dockers turn it over, coming the other way. Crunch in the middle. Petty sends it back. Umpire says play on. Salem chipping ball inside 50. Another opportunity for the Demons. Van Rooyen stripped of him. Pearce turns it over as well. Back to Chandler. They come again, the Demons. Van Rooyen, he's not sure what to do. Pokes into the pocket, does nicely. And Myercheck from here surely finishes.
Chaotic football there. Voss had 8 options to handball the ball. Just took too many steps in the end and was nailed. Big turnover in the middle of the ground.
The Demons kick the opening 2 of the second term. 42-point margin. It's just been narrowed back. Let's have a look at the Harvey Norman replay, and there's a lot to digest in it.
We can see they're out and gone. They've got a wave run there, but Patrick Voss decides he wants to put a fend out and bypass 6 teammates flying past. A couple of Melbourne players let him know about it. Carry on at quarter time. Fighting hard, the Demons.
Other opportunities here, the Demons in this second quarter. 9-1 inside 50s. The ball's been in their forward half for the majority of the 10 minutes that has already happened. As Patrick Voss missed those options in the middle of the ground. Costly error, cost his team a goal.
So the game really switching up in this second quarter has gone the clear hit out. Clearance though goes to Fremantle, is taking a bounce and trying to run away. And doing too much was Matt Johnson. Brilliant tackle from Sparrow to win it back for Melbourne. Just trying to take Honest. Chandler was there. Warner with the punch. Wagner just escaping. And it's Fremantle's turn to feel some pressure. Amos helps them out with the mark down the line.
They needed it. They haven't been able to get it outside their own defensive half here, Fremantle.
Towards Tracy. Protected the space. Melbourne had more spill. Steele. Salem. Back to half forward. Cully's good in the air. Warner from the side. Helped out Ryan. Chapman. Clark tackled. Great rundown by Cozzy Pickett. Looks up. Kicks smothered. Gets it back with the fend. Dropped it down with one hand. Touched off the boot. Sarong. Now Fremantle will try to launch Dudley over the top to Sherry as they continue to run. Johnson this time through the middle with a handball to Erasmus. Wider still they go for O'Driscoll. He looks up, wants an option. They've got them out the back. It's Jackson drifting down, but he spilt it at the end and the D's can mop it up.
Run into some friendly fire. Jackson looked like he had it snared. And the hand pass misses from McVee. And it'll be a free kick immediately away the Demons.
Well, you'd be filthy if you're Lloyd Jackson. Patrick Voss pushes his man in there. Friendly fire. There's going to be an easy mark to Jackson.
Johnson.
Getting a heap of ball here, Melbourne. They just can't locate the uncontested short target. 15, 20, 25 metres. They're bombing everything long.
Clark, 16th disposal. Plus 400 metres gained. Edmund looks frustrated by the lack of options. Punches 150 metres down the line. Howes. And Tracy just shoves him away. Back to Amos. Clark again. Takes his measure. Drives a long ball inside 50. In from the side. Jackson. This time his teammate doesn't get in his way.
Power forwards everywhere. And Tracy's just making statements everywhere he goes, whether it's attacking a contest, tackling, spoiling, contested marking. Well, leaves a bit of forward 50 action for the big man who didn't let him down.
Premiership player for the Demons here in Perth. Just to extend that lead, it was 42 points at quarter time Fremantle after they kicked the last 6 of the term before Sharp and Myercheck responded. Tight angle for the number 9. Gives it every opportunity, just narrow.
And with Turner off the ground, this is where Fremantle can challenge Melbourne. They can get Jackson forward. Athletic height, moves around the ground nicely, can challenge them in the air.
Everyone's calling for the lead. Shorty double back on Darcy to take the mark.
He's done for the day, Jack. Dylan Turner finished with a hand injury, just trying to find out exactly what, but he won't be back for the day.
Great kick.
Makes it tough for the Demons. It was a really good kick. Open things up for Salem to just roll on to his boot, send it out wide. Howes up over the wing. And they take it wide for Langdon with some hard running. Good movement of the footy from the Demons. As he arcs around, he'll send it deep into the hot spot, looking for someone to launch. Punched away by McVee. Spills to Lindsay. Look out, crushed. Big tackle coming in from the side. And it's Sherry on debut, showing the work rate to get back and lay a big tackle.
Some of the spoiling from Fremantle has been a feature. I mean, that just cleared the area by 25 metres.
That's how you get another game of AFL footy there. He already had the 8 disposals for it. Score involvement, Sherry.
So much power up forward for Fremantle. Melbourne kicking long to Cully. As it's cut off coming back the other way by Lever. It's all the way back to Myercheck, looking into the sun. It's a warm afternoon here in the west.
There are plenty of options for Melbourne. They just got...
They might get out of it. They don't deserve to get out of it. Giath, pretty hectic with ball in hand. Bites off a bit, aggressive. Might hurt them the other way. Chapman accesses it, sweeps it back by hand. McVee's got no room to move. Tracy can put his physical presence on the ball, spins out of it. Falls in the end to O'Driscoll, blazes away, misses, let off the D's.
Should have been holding the ball there. He was on McVee. Had plenty of chance to get rid of it.
As soon as you fend, that's normally a quick whistle. A steal. Out of defence for Melbourne. Fremantle have had it in their forward half a bit more. Push here to the D's though. It'll help them advance it.
Let's just see if they can use their vision here.
Myercheck quickly done. And the head of Van Rooyen. Swing past Ryan. Spills to Cully. And now the Demons can go inside 50. Fridge. Good hands. Chapman was right there with him. And takes a terrific mark inside 50.
It's fantastic last week, Cully. Inside the forward half of the ground. Just provided an option, was strong in the contest, and just there, someone was prepared to lower the eyes and just drop the ball in the path of the leading target. Melbourne just screaming out for a couple of clear decision makers, bringing the ball down the ground. They're getting enough ball in this second term. It's been a big comeback.
Five-time leading goal kicker at the Demons. A bit down on his own form last year. His return of 36 goals. And good from this spot through his career. And it's perfection off the boot. Fritsch kicks the goal and Melbourne are hitting back.
Well, in modern footy, there's this dangerous space behind a long down-the-line contest here, and it's exactly where it got access. There's Myercheck, who's in the ruck, Gawn off at the moment, and they struggled in the first quarter with when Gawn was off, but Cully just lowering the eyes. They've been bombing it a lot, but simple brilliance there. Just lower it down, and this man here, he's kicked 7 goals in a grand final on this ground, perhaps. He's a man that can kick goals pretty quickly.
Had the 7 score involvements last week, Cully. Huge day.
3 goals, 1 and 2 behinds after they were smacked in the first term, down by 42. Been a good response by the Demons. Van Rooyen in the middle, ripped off the footy. Erasmus flips it out. Tolstrup, Brayshaw. Tolstrup wins out. He runs into Darcy, which is an uncomfortable position.
It's wrong, only the 2 disposals here, so sticking with the tag and working for Melbourne.
Darcy out of the ruck. Goes to Cully as Schukowski. Wagner. Scoring's dried up for Fremantle. By Amos on the lead. Bolton's deep in attack. Darts that towards the pocket, or wanted to. Has to go again. Amos. O'Driscoll from the side. Rivers. Schukowski at the spill. Wrapped up well. The stoppage inside 50 for Fremantle as Windsor looks in a bit of pain.
Yeah.
On that already with 1 player down. Darcy in the ruck. Cully got a hand in there. Darcy just willed himself to it. He muscled it towards goal. And that's the difference when you've got a full-time ruck in there against a pinch hitter.
Yeah, there's a couple of players you don't want to run into when you're a light body, and Sean Darcy would be in the top 4 or 5.
Looks like Cully's actually rucking against Darcy now. Gawn's still off the ground.
Really lost turn of the Demons. Looking forward to lose another. Keep an eye on Windsor. Van Rooyen. Move far and wide for his possession to pick it. An opportunity for the Jockers to come back their way.
Let's see if they can get their game going again, Freo. They've got high-quality targets long down the line if they choose to go that way. When they've switched it in the first term, they got out at will.
Got away against the Cats last week. Fremantle. Jones will just be trying to put some scoreboard pressure on, put some doubt in the minds. Melbourne have responded in this term. He goes back to Rivers.
They've been able to force Fremantle long down the line, though, so it's actually giving them a chance to set up their defence and use the other side of the ground.
Weaver. Jones out there. Oscar McDonald the punch. The spill, Langford will take it, and a high kick out the back. Myercheck, Pearce with an important spoil and scrambled it to the boundary line, going back with the flight. That was brilliant.
It's a great little battle there, Pearce v Myercheck. He was Northwest Tasmanians.
Absolutely. Don't worry about the Tassie connection. He was caught in no man's land there in front of Myercheck and was able to get back and lay the perfect spoil. Normally you give away a free kick there.
Good day for Tassie today in the VFL in front of a big crowd. Chapman. Oh, risky ball. It just works out. Just over the top of the stretch of Langdon. Johnson spreads it out to the other side. Voss keeps it in front of Gawn. Nice ball in ball.
Great kick by Voss.
Drops it inside 50. Melbourne have got the numbers. And Lever takes a good mark coming back in the flight. We got 20 minutes for us at half-time on Tassie. What happened today, Jack?
Humble, just happy to get a win in their first match back in the VFL against the Coburg Lions.
Surprised it took this long into the game to actually get a mention.
He's waited 30 years to tell us 1 week at a time.
A long kick by Fetty up to half forward, and Alex Pearce in the fingertips, but Melbourne again at the feet. And it's Ed Langdon, the former Docker, on the burst. Missing across the face. That would have been very handy as we start to go towards half-time. And Animated is Justin Longmuir on his feet and on the phone.
We saw this story last week against Geelong. Two powerful first turns, but they've given up 3 goals to zip. 42 at quarter time to the good. Whittleback to 25. Goals from Sharp, Myercheck and Fridge. Chapman nearly had a concern there with Pickett. Darcy just flipped his hips and they went flying. Brayshaw kicked the open, a bit of space ahead of him. Didn't do well to corral him though. He got through one tackle, just got away. Rivers had the opportunity to pin him. Now Bolton's got space to work into. Petty will try and have to stop him. Loads it down in the path of the clever Murphy Reid. Just coming back to kill it was Lindsay.
Watching Max this first half, he's definitely sore. He's definitely playing impacted after what was an unbelievable week last week, but he's out there. Darcy's trying to be physical with him, which is obviously the plan when you've got the 2 rucks working over Max.
We'll talk about Sean Darcy's spot in the side during the week. Certainly getting physical there as it goes long. Petty spills out the back. Cully over the top. Langdon for the run again. D's a chance to break. Tolstrup on the boot. Long ball inside 50. Max almost, but roving it. Cozzy Pickett will streak in towards goal. Steps sideways and snaps it brilliantly. Individual brilliance from Cozzy Pickett, trying to lift his side right back into it.
What a goal. What a goal. He's only had the 8 touches, but when he's near the footy, you have to hold your breath. I mean, he comes in at a rate of knots to get front and square. Look at him, from 70 out, just puts the burners on, gets 10 metres on his opponent, game over. And then just to have the smarts to work his way through this little gap, steps back around Clark. Outstanding play. What a star this young man is.
A little sidestep from Langdon there just to completely shift the game. He was the one that came back through the corridor, brought Tolstrup into it. And he is a highlights package, Cozzy Pickett. And Melbourne have absolutely dominated this second quarter.
4 goals to 0 for the turn. Gawn, Bolton, rips it out of the middle. Takes a quick bounce, chips it inside, he's perfect. So can they respond quickly through Sherry? Saw him earlier on, he's a long kick for goal. It's picked up a month ago on the SSP. Incredible really. Lance, best first year player in 2025. Now he gets an opportunity to kick a long goal. In the end, wants to lay it off. His players falling down everywhere. Petty under pressure by hand. And as far as Jackson, Switkowski won't miss him there. And the Dockers respond.
Just an awful error there from Petty. It's a loop handball back inside to the corridor where the traffic's always going to be. I mean, defenders have got to come boundary side, clear the area if you can. Look, he's under a bit of pressure, but that handball there is always going to create problems, even if taken clean. Could have been a free kick anyway, so maybe it was calmer in the end, but huge risk, huge cost.
Perhaps you talked about Sean Darcy. I noticed Mason Cox was named as an emergency. Is there much talk in your town here about him potentially getting an opportunity for the Dockers?
Very much so. With his form through the pre-season, the way he's able to get the hit-outs to advantage. Darcy was on managed minutes in that game against the Cats. And there's a little bit of talk through the pre-season about whether they could play all 3 of them in the same side. Mason Cox having to wait for his opportunity. So Rasmus is there, Latrell Pickett. Now, Bolton trying to run him down. Latrell had it covered into the pocket. Myercheck and Pearce again with a good defensive fist.
Good to see all 3 of them out on the ground together, Kingy, in the same team.
No, I think they'll have to make a decision, a clear decision to not go too tall. They've become a running side. They really have. I mean, this game by hand might affect the balance a fraction too much.
Saw Latrell Pickett bunch. He's got a high cruising speed without really putting the hammer down. Langford, little step, blast one forward. Gee, had some opportunities this term, Melbourne.
17 to 9 inside 50s, Howie. You're right. Just haven't been able to make the most of it. Long shots. It was Fremantle when they had the wave of momentum. They're ready to get closer to goal, hit up little marks, set shots. Plenty to work on for Stephen King going into half-time, though.
Warner, the long kick. Back is there, off hands, Voss. Who escape to O'Driscoll. To a run of Sherry. Now to Jackson, had runners inboard and outside. O'Driscoll just got it through to Erasmus, living dangerously by hand there. Shut down, but it spills back to Jackson on the burst. Delivers to Tracy. Crunched. A push. Front on contact, the call. Luke Jackson full of run in that passage of play. Copped some treatment perhaps after he got rid of it. Voss is still getting stuck into Salem. Tracy's there. Who gets the free kick. Bit going on in that passage of play.
Voss's words per disposal through the roof today. Just the 4 kicks. He hasn't stopped talking.
Josh Tracy to line them up. Melbourne dominating the inside 50s in this quarter. They're getting themselves back into it, but Fremantle steady with a couple in a row. Third goal for Josh Tracy.
He does more than that. He's just a great package. What a leader he is for this footy club. His ability to just stay involved in the game, even if it's not goals. He's creating soft drops or tackling or harassing. And he's prepared to take a big hit. I just love the way that he plays this guy, the standards that he sets. He knows what's coming. He's happy to complete the deal.
Wasn't the perfect handball chain there for Fremantle. But they get it forward. They open up a lead lane, and this man on a lead, very hard to beat.
7 disposals and 3 goals for Tracy. So after the opening 4 for the Demons, Fremantle respond late with a couple. End over end ball out towards the wing. Half time here. The natives will be a touch cooler and calmer after the last 2 of the turn. It was Freo by 42 at the first break. Melbourne kicked the opening 4 of the second turn before Swinskowski responded with his first and Tracy with his third. Half time here in the West. Fremantle 9-11-65 to the Demons 5-4-34. The home side 31 points to the good.
All right, we'll be back in just a moment with the commentators, folks. There we go. It's the Dockers still in front at half-time, 9-11-65. The D's 5-4-34. 31 points is the margin. Of course, the D's pegging back a little bit of score there. They put on 4 goals, 3 to the Dockers. 2 goals, 4. Melbourne were doing really good. They'll be a little bit disappointed. The last 2 minutes, they gave away a couple of goals back to the Dockers. Yeah, just allowed them to overextend that lead again. But a lot better effort there by Melbourne. I think this game's going to tighten up. We know the Dockers can get out and then slow up a little bit in their second half, final quarter. Hey, Salty Frog, how you doing? Albert, yeah, the West Tigers. I know they came back big in that in the opening part of that first half over there in the NRL. But this game, I tell you what, it's a cracker. I know it's 31 points a margin, but I think this is going to end up a lot closer than the score is right now. There we go. Salty's going for the Dockers. I know Eddie G's going for the Dockers. I wonder if Eddie G is at the game today. Looks like a fair crowd there at Optus Stadium there in Perth. And probably beautiful weather over there as well. It looks like it's a good night for football. All right, let's just have a little bit of a look at the goal scorers while we're waiting for the commentators to come back. We've only got one multiple goal scorer out on the ground so far, folks. And of course, you guessed it, it's Josh Tracy from the Fremantle Dockers. He's kicked 3 straight goals. The Prancing Pony, he's kicked 1 with Swiskowski, Murphy Reid. Matthew Johnston's got 1. Andy Brayshaw and Shai Bolton still got 1, haven't added to their tally up until half time. For Melbourne, Harry Sharp, Kaiser Pickett kicked a ring-a-ding-ding goal. Brody Mychek, his first outing there for the Melbourne club. He's kicked 1. Ed Langdon kicked one with Fritz has kicked one. Let's just have a look at the ball magnets, see where they're going. Well, there we go. Thank you, Mother, for the rabbits. Christian Salem for the Melbourne Demons tops the table on 19 disposals, 18 kicks, 1 handball. Tell you what, doesn't like handballing, does he? 18 and 1, 5 marks. There we go. Equal on top with 19. Shy Bolton from the Fremantle Dockers. He's had 19 touches. He's had 8 kicks, 11 handballs. He's had 2 marks, 2 tackles, 7 clearances, 1 goal, 1. He's having a fantastic game, is Shy Bolton. Jordan Clark, he's on 18 with Andy Brayshaw. A little bit quieter in that second term as Brayshaw. I'm sure he'll come back into the game in the second half as well. Neil Aramis on 13, the second best for not St Kilda, my gosh, for Melbourne is Jack Steele. He's had 13 touches, 8 and 5, 2 marks, 5 tackles, 3 clearances, so he's going all right as well. Matty Johnson on 12, O'Driscoll on 11 with Luke Jackson. Just the 9 hit-outs there for Luke Jackson. Maxie Gawn, 13 hit-outs for Big Max. Spent a little bit of time off ground, 4 clearances, 10 touches, 6 kicks, 4 handballs. Ed Langdon with his 1 goal, 1. He's had 9 disposals, 3 kicks, 6 handballs. Oscar McDonald, he's had 8 there for the Dockers. Heath Chapman on 8, as has Jai a miss there. Paddy Voss, the prancing pony. I tell you what, he's given a lot of lip out there to his opposing players. He's had 7 touches, 3 kicks, 4 handballs. He's taken 3 grabs, a couple of hit-outs. No hit-outs, I should say, 2 tackles, 3 marks. My gosh, I'm looking at the wrong line, folks. There we go. Just for his 1 goal there. All right, there are some of your player stats there as we head on down. Tom Sparrow, the 5, as I said, Brody Mychek, 5 disposals, 5 kicks for him. All right, let's head back down to the commentators. They'll give us a little bit of analysis on the opening half.
A quarter time, and Melbourne have responded. A couple of their star factor players have got rolling. Pickett's done his thing. Max is a little bit impacted, there's no doubt about that, but they found some easier options in the forward half of the ground, Jack.
Well, they're able to get their hands on the ball simply around the coalface as well. They're absolutely smacked in that first quarter at contested possession and ground balls. They win both of those in the second quarter, and they get themselves back into the game. And the scoreline probably flutters Fremantle a little bit now at halftime, 31 points. Melbourne certainly had the ascendancy in that second quarter.
Well, let's wind it back a little bit to the start, and one man who always sets the tone for Fremantle is Josh Tracy, and he is our host-class performance of the first half. 2 goals to his name, but it's his pressure acts, the aggression that he brings, Kippy.
Yeah, he brings a standard. This is how I'm going to play. You guys have to come with me. On that first term, he was everywhere, helping his teammates just get an easier shot at goal or an opportunity in front of goal. And then when it's his time, he just rears up. He's one grab. There's no fumbles about this guy. I love the attitude that he brings. I mean, he's getting some reward today. He's kicked the 3, he's had 7 touches, 5 of those inside the forward 50, but it's the standards that make the difference.
Yeah, he straightens them up so much, Josh Tracy. He's that beacon down there. He's the number 1 banana, and he just makes sure that they do have a bailout. He's an excellent player who marks on the lead. He's been right at the top of the competition in the last 3 years for that facet, but big contested marks today, catching at the highest point, nearly undefendable there.
The goal fest for Freo didn't continue after quarter time. How did you view Melbourne and how they were able to turn the game around somewhat and really stifle the Dockers' ball movement?
Yeah, I thought their ability to defend was terrific, but then they were able to kick 3 of their 4 goals taking the ball from the defensive half. So there's no doubt Fremantle dropped their intensity just marginally. They did it last week. It's become a bit of a habit for them, and I have no doubts that at halftime the coach will be saying, come on guys, 120 minutes, 100% effort. We can't have these lapses in game. Geelong took advantage of it. Melbourne weren't good enough in that second quarter to absolutely take them to the cleaners, but they've left the door slightly ajar.
They've been their own worst enemy. In the first quarter, they simply were their own worst enemy, is that they just looked jittery in front of this big Fremantle crowd here. They got the job done last week at home against St Kilda, but this is a different environment here. There's 50,000 Fremantle supporters here in the room, and they were kicking the ball off the ground, they were fumbling, and these were the turnovers that led to Fremantle goals and gave them that ascendancy in the first quarter. And these are fundamentals. When you come away in front of a big crowd, you've got to make sure that the little things that make a big difference you do right from the first bounce. And unfortunately for Fremantle, especially for Melbourne, they gave up way too many goals from turnovers in that first quarter.
Yeah, it was that last line of defence, wasn't it? And that really is where the crowd gets involved too, and you do feel like you're in enemy territory.
Yeah, you got to win at home. If you're a good side in this competition, you got to win at home. They won 10 of 13 here last year. They got to stack the wins again this year. Hey, you get some grace on the road, but you don't get it here.
As you mentioned, Max Gawn perhaps looking a little bit sore as well. He had such a huge game last week. It's a tough road trip as well. So let's see how the big man goes in the second half. Well, after tonight, we've got 2 games to go in round 2. Our Sunday ticket begins at the beautiful Adelaide Oval. It is Port hosting Essendon. Can Josh Carr get his first win as senior coach? And then it's back here to Optus Stadium. We've got West Coast in their first home game of the year, hosting your team, North Melbourne.
All right, while they're on a break, let's head over. We'll just have a little bit of a look, folks. We'll have a little bit of a look at the team stats and see what's happening there with the teams. 216, 161. They're plus 55, the Dockers. Of course, they had that big lead in the disposal counts up pretty well. They were pretty even, Stephen, in the second term there. The kicks, well, Melbourne are just plus 10 in the kicks. There we go. But look at the handballs. Handball partay for the Dockers, they're plus 65 in the handballs. Inside 50s certainly tightened up. Has the inside 50s. Melbourne did a lot better there. I think it was about 17 inside 50s there for Melbourne in that term. They're on 24 inside 50s, Melbourne, for their 9 scoring shots. The Dockers, 35 inside 50s for 20 scoring shots. So that's they're going pretty good. There we go. That is excellent work from the Dockers. Disposal efficiency, well, Dockers not too bad there, 71. 68 for Melbourne, need to lift a little bit there. Free kicks, to tell you what, the umpires have put the whistle away. We did see this in a game last night where there wasn't many free kicks in the opening half, but by the end of the game, there were free kicks aplenty, and the umpires certainly wore their whistle out last night in the second half. Looking at the hit-outs and the stoppages, Melbourne are plus 3 in the hit-outs. So the Melbourne Rucks are doing well there. The clearances are Dockers on top, but that does come from stoppage clearances, folks, around the ground. 15-4, they're plus 11 there, but Melbourne's mids are getting well and truly on top out of the centre. 9-5, they're plus 4. Melbourne will be very happy. They've got that form of the game working well there. Contested possessions, plus 23, the Dockers, working a little bit harder. As I said, Melbourne there just fumbling the ball a little bit in the second term, uncontested, of course, with all those marks. They're a plus 40, plus 39 there. Turnovers both the same there, 37 apiece. Looking at the marks there we go. It's 60-48. That was a disposal count, wasn't it? Oh, the handball, sorry, not the marks before. There we go. Looking at the marks now. Melbourne on top. And I don't know why this keeps reloading. 48-30 there, plus 18. Marks inside 50. Good to see both teams getting plenty of marks inside 50. Going on this season, Melbourne is a really good team on finding their targets, hitting their targets inside forward 50. 19 is the season average. That's super high for a team. I can't remember seeing a team so high as 19 marks inside their forward 50 as their season average. But they've had 7 already. They're nearly up to halfway there. And, of course, the Dockers on 6 so far. 6 to 7 there. Contested marks. Both teams 5 apiece there, so doing okay. The defensive work, the aspect of both these teams, I think they really do need to lift. They need to bring the pressure to their opposition. 26-27 respectively for both teams in their tackle count. It's not a great number. Really need to bring that up. And, of course, the good sides do that. Just to 4 tackles inside forward 50 for both sides. There we go. All right, that's all we need to look at there. Actually, what I might do, if I can bring it over, let me just bring... All right, hang on.
Game at Energy Stadium earlier today. It's hard to believe 4 points was the final margin.
Ah, there it is. My gosh, that's a little bit rickety, noisy from them. I was just going to try and bring the ladder over, folks, so I could get a catch on the ladder there at the moment. Let me just pull that over for everyone there. Just looking at that, if Fremantle do happen to win tonight, of course, that'll be their second game played. This is a live ladder. They'll be 6, so they'll be in the top 6, and of course, Melbourne will be 10th if all stays where it is at the moment. That is the live ladder as it stands at the moment. Of course, Gold Coast Suns winning today, going on top of the league ladder, played 3-1-3. Big percentage, Western Bulldogs, but there's Freo 6, Melbourne 10, if things stay the way they are just at the moment. All right, there we go. Salty Frog's going for the Dockers, as I said. Not sure where Addy G is, Albert, but there we go. You picked a Rabbitoh. Yeah, nice win for St Kilda today. That's it. Where is the roundups? Roundups of the 2 games that have been, or the 4 games that have played already in round 2. Of course, Thursday night we had Hawthorn taking on the Sydney Swans, and it was the might of the Hawks that got up over the Sydney Swans 99-82, 17-point victors for Hawthorn there Thursday night. Of course, Friday night, last night, I tell you what, that was a ring-a-ding-ding game. That was, what a fantastic final quarter it was last night too over there at Adelaide Oval, where Western Bulldogs travelled to Adelaide and played a ring-a-ding-ding game there. I tell you what, there was only 1 goal separating, and of course, the Western Bulldogs came out victors in that game, 94-88, 6-point winners over Adelaide. And of course, today the Gold Coast Suns played down there at the MCG. Big winners over the Richmond Tigers, 128-60. 68-point winners was there. And of course, the other game prior to this one, well, I'll tell you what, St Kilda, they had a little bit of a scare. The Giants came back hard, Albert. They came back hard at them. In the end, it was just a 4-point margin. St Kilda taking out that one there at Engie Stadium, 78-74. I'll tell you what, they'll be a happy team at St Kilda. Ross Lyon, as I said, he'll have a big grin on his face. I would assume, although he probably wouldn't like the way St Kilda ended the game, just to 4 points up. Tomorrow's games, of course, 2 games to round out the round 2, folks, and that's Port Adelaide taking on Essendon. That's a mid-afternoon game at 3 o'clock, and then West Coast North Melbourne tomorrow to round out round 2. All right, let's head back down to the commentators, and hopefully they will take us pretty much in. I'll get down there in a minute. If this is they're just on a break. All right, folks, we'll be back. We'll be back in just a moment.
halfway through that second quarter. What were you animated about, mate? What weren't you happy with?
Well, we knew coming into the game we weren't going to have it on our terms the whole time, but really disappointed and frustrated when we go away from our way. We became unpredictable to each other and just played into Melbourne's hands. We had a clear plan going in, went away from it, and you get what you get in this game.
Andy Brayshaw was pretty animated coming off the ground about last week. Was that a message at halftime you gave to the players?
Well, not really. No, we focus on now. Clearly we took some lessons out of last week, but this week's, it's a different opponent and it's some different things we got wrong in that second quarter that we need to fix up.
Caleb Strong's been held pretty well by Tolstrup. Will you look to change that at all?
Well, he's been mixing up his roles. Caleb hasn't necessarily got the footy, but he's actually freed up a lot of space, especially around stoppage for his teammates. So he's a really selfless player when he gets tagged, and I think he's done his job really well.
And happy with the first gamer. Tell me about him.
Yeah, he's done well. He brings a really good defensive pressure. He chased really hard. Had some really good moments offensively. So he's playing his role.
Thanks, Joe.
Good on you.
Just along you there, the coach of the Fremantle Dockers, there's Chris Sherry on debut, enjoying life as an AFL footballer. And Fremantle with plenty to discuss at the half. They let the Demons back in that second quarter. Thoughts of last week will be in the back of the mind. 31-point margin. The last two of that last quarter, Fremantle, just to steady things up. We're underway again as Gawn and Jackson go at it. Third quarter, boot thrown out by Gawn. Chandler knocked it on cleverly into the path of Windsor. Over the top to Cozzy Pickett. Lost out to Brayshaw. Terrific tackle. And a high up and under kick back through the middle of the ground. Gawn is there.
Arm interference.
Holding free. Arm interference on Gawn against or by Jackson. D's can go back towards the 50 again. It's a wide kick. Both players trying to mark it. Brought to ground, Langdon and Johnson. Brayshaw continues to rack up the footy. Warner with a neat step. Misses with the kick though, and that'll be a last disposal. Free kick and out of play.
Stand on the line. Stand.
I know he's out of tickets, Max. He's had a big couple of weeks, but I'd love to see him charge forward.
Stand.
I think that they're going to need the big man to be a presence inside the forward 50.
Rivers sends in that direction, but only as far as Brayshaw. Kick the opener of the match. He's already had 20 disposals.
Play on.
Bolton tries to fly above Windsor, does well at ground level. Jath tracks it back to Brayshaw. Hacks it forward. Opportunity for Steele. Hand pass error. There is Sarong. Pokes it forward. He's got men out. Look at the runners on the inside. Murphy Reid, accurate typically, and is. Perfect start for the home side. That boy's got some sizzle.
Well, we spoke about those first quarter jitters for Melbourne. They've come back with a vengeance again here in the third quarter. Just the fumble there from Trent Rivers. Caleb Sarong getting involved. He's had a quiet first half, been held by Tolstrup. This man is a class act, Murphy Reid, in season 2. What a finish.
All in a day's work for Murphy Reid. No celebrations at all. Let's do this for fun. 2 goals he's got.
Complete opposite to Patrick Voss.
On turnover, they have been incredibly damaging today, Fremantle, and last week for that fact.
Back in the centre we go. Jackson with the elevation. Steele was held. And we'll get the free. Get it out of the middle again. Steele will pump it long. High kick to the hot spot. And Oscar McDonald's takes a nice mark.
He's got to be careful bombing it inside forward 50 Melbourne. They look a lot better when they lower the eyes.
Four ex-Demons out there. Can't kick it in that direction though. As Max Gawn will swallow it all day long. Goes wide to Langdon. Handball forward to Jaff. He steadies up but misses the kick after the fumble and only found Warner and Freo.
That's a poor handball there. He just handball it to the wrong side of Jaff. He's got to turn back around the other way. He was in a clear spot for a good handball receive, but poor skill execution.
Fumbling throughout the day at various times for Demons. Amos charges back towards it. Petty mops up. By hand, Howes. Again, it's just turnover by hand. Will hurt them coming the other way. Sarong's got a man out the back. What a man it is. Tracy's already kicked 3. Another turnover error for the Demons. Now he locks in. Kicked 3 in the first half, Tracy. He's had a big summer on the track and in the steel room. Plays on for the extra yards. Floats it all the way across the face. And Max is there to take charge.
Just needs to, as we get a 50-minute penalty, clean his game up, does Jath. And he had the 8 disposals, 4 of those cold turnovers. And they've been really costly on occasion. He's been moved from the back line to the half-forward line. Now he's looking to get back again. They just need some composure from him.
Teams are trying to run it after the 50. Eventually they escape out wide. Lindsay with a good kick. Sharp.
Have to try and find a kick inside here.
Into the pocket. Mychek, Pierce, Cully's got the reach. Pierce trying to crash through. He's taking them on. All spilt out. Steele soccer forward. Trapped by Ryan. Handball. Brayshaw under the pump. He's got speed. Good tackle. Spills through. Tracy, what a pickup. Down low by the big man. And now to release Dudley. Counter-attacking footy from Fremantle. Dudley's away. Unguarded goal square. Wants it to roll all the way home. End-to-end stuff from Fremantle. What a take by Tracy in the middle.
He's involved in everything, Josh Tracy. And this is a big man. Taking the one grab again. Just great chase there from Windsor. Put him into a panic mode. Look at that. Maintain speed. Just jog onto that little fella. And I'll tell you what, the chase from Cozzy was unbelievable, but Dudley knew he was coming. Rolled it through.
He loves it too, Dudley. He's a bums on seats man. They kick the last 4. Get it back out to a game high now, 43-point margin. Dudley kicks his first. So danger signs here for the Demons. Got it back to 25 points with the first 4 in the second term. Since then, they've given up the next 4. Murphy Reid always looks good around the footy. And he's trapped. Good work by Steele. He's had a good afternoon, for sake. Windsor. Sparrow overruns it. O'Driscoll doesn't. Now to Johnson. Back to Dudley. Pokes it forward. Tracy. The leads come. Amos comes a second time. That is a magnificent kick to Voss.
Just made Jake Lever look slow there, Patrick Voss. It looks so damaging going forward when it goes through their big pillars, especially that man there on screen. David King has said he is involved in everything. He is involved in everything. An excellent kick inside 50. Knew exactly where his key forward partner wanted it and kicked him straight into the play there.
Loves the ball in his hands. For a second, bends it, but not far enough.
The corridor starting to be opened up again by Fremantle, worrying signs for Melbourne and their defence.
He's go around the boundary. Lever receiving from Rivers. Trying to dart back around the back. And Lindsay. Cross to Jaff. Between 2 Freo players. What a mark, and now release. They try to get out. Langdon at the back of O'Driscoll and Dudley. Steele a little shove. The lunging pressure affecting the kick and causing the turnover, and the crowd enjoy it.
They're all over him here. They can smell it. Look powerful anytime they get the ball at the moment, Fremantle.
Clark approaching 500 metres gained. Petty works off Tracy, who is rewarded with a free kick for a hole. 3 first half goals for the big forward. Just one opportunity in this third term. Going to go back and across.
Ryan has taken Max Gawn to full back.
Chapman just.
He's short. Back to Chapman. Wrestling going on behind between Chandler and Warner. Now to the 50. Cross and lever at the spill. Erasmus did well to extract it. Switkowski, look out. Collision coming up. Put his head over it. Sherry's in there. Destined for a ball up.
Good technique by Jake Lever there coming into the contest. Could have quite easily given away the free kick. Sort of side saddled Switkowski there.
Good hit out from Gawn. Trying to find Langford. Up the line under pressure. Ryan and Cully. Cully knocked it on. And it will roll out of play.
Max.
Outstanding side 50s, the Dockers. Plus 56 in the disposals.
Holding arm. Melbourne.
Whistle. On the way of Gawn. Shorts it. Sailor. There's the same. Now Sparrow. He's got men out wide. Next to go a touch more direct towards Pickett, outsized, stay down. Windsor, check side round the body to Myercheck, who's got a shove from Pearson across the line. It goes.
It's the type of play in another 20 games you'll see him find an option. By hand, by foot, rather than a banana to the pocket. Not his best.
They're outnumbered, the Melbourne supporters, but they're cheering for their side, willing them back into it as Sparrow to the goal line. It'll bounce past Cully. Ryan sees it over for a behind.
Gawn heads to the boundary. Fremantle in that first quarter were able to kick 3 goals in the time that Max Gawn had his rest.
Stand. Play on. Top 15. Play on. Play on.
Chapman ducks back. So powerful in the air. Does Tracy. Sherry, the debutant, to 11th disposal. Murphy Reid, Kingy, where does he, moving forward, play most of his football? Because he looks so dynamic when he gets an opportunity.
Yeah, he's going to become one of those mid-forward types. Get an opportunity on the ball. Hasn't been in at centre bounces today. He's played solely forward of centre. Kicked a couple of goals.
Melbourne winning the clearances in this third term, but Fremantle the ones doing the scoring. Darcy went back in after it. Erasmus, another stoppage.
Just become a little bit blast happy. Just everything's a little bit long for Melbourne. They haven't found a linking player, a handball receiver to break the lines or find a short, sharp 45-degree kick.
Darcy just held Cully at bay, hit it to the advantage of Johnson. Now they can build through Shea Bolton with a run and a bounce in a second as he looks goalward. He stings it long. It's going to go all the way. Shea Bolton showcasing just what he's got up the sleeve. Well, the Bunnings build up for this one. They hit out to advantage and Shea Bolton just got to work.
Look at Jaff here. He was the player that had to come up at him. The pressure was coming from behind, but Bolton has got incredible leg speed. Just sitting back, waiting for Bolton to take possessions. But the thing that Shea Bolton and quick players will do, if you see grass in front of you, you take it. Get closer and closer to goal. And in the end, he got close enough that he could break 50 himself and actually kick it. He was the one shining light for Fremantle in the second quarter, Shea Bolton, and then he started this third quarter on fire as well.
Well, this is as good as he's played for a while. And he's converting his opportunities. A couple of goals this afternoon, 20 disposals. He's been involved in 7 scores. Jaff is the loose man. He had to close quicker.
Darcy goes to ground in the middle. Sarong has had Tolstrup that close to him for most of the afternoon.
Done a great job, hasn't he, Howie? Just the four kicks, 4 handballs for Caleb.
And Wangan and Miller last week. Wagner senses an opportunity. Not sure how he disposed of it. As he reels it back in.
Straight back.
Numbers around this ball up. Darcy held position on Van Rooyen, but it spills through. Langford, Chandler, Steele, released. And look up. That's an option. It's a high ball. And Oscar McDonald, another intercept.
So it's the same again. The long blast. You've got to be able to locate players on the lead. There was a marking option ahead of him.
McVee breaks to half-back. Fremantle trying to run the ball, almost standing still, takes a bounce and just draws the man to him. Chapman will load up in the direction of Tracy. Again, rising strong.
And that's the difference. Kick to advantage, Jack. The key post was always going to have a clean run at that, and he's had his name written all over that as soon as it was a high ball.
To the tale of two, I suppose. Jack Steele going inside 50, just kicks it straight up the chimney and gives his forward no chance. That's a long kick inside 50, but it's into a dangerous spot. It's on top of the defender's head. Josh Tracy just puts his knee in the back there. Once again, taking the ball at its absolute highest point.
3 goals already in his afternoon. Some strong marking and solid finishing. 4 goals for Josh Tracy. He's a presence.
I think this guy, Norton's in great form for the Dogs. We talk a lot about Sam Darcy. I think he has the greatest presence inside 50 in the competition, Tracy. He just plays with an anger. And you just know what you're going to get from him. 100% effort, 100% of the time. And those type of balls, he just stamps himself.
I know you love Caden Young, Kingy, but you can make a case for season 2026 that man there on screen might be Fremantle's most important player to where they go in September if they are to be a player. 4 goals today.
He kicked the last 6 of the match to Freo to blow it out to a game-high 55-point margin.
Pretty good story, Josh Tracy was. He wasn't drafted, remember, he's a rookie draftee at the Freo Dockers.
Handy pickup. Langford overruns it. Demons just hack it off the ground. Johnson leads all comers. Tap it around the corner. Chandler, awake and aware, really favoured Cozzy. And Luke Ryan, who was an emergency, came in for Walker, just gets the job done.
A warm applause from the fans. Seeing Luke Ryan back out there this week. Great inclusion. Going to fight for his spot. Trolling across the back line. Dual All-Australian.
They are making Melbourne run at the moment on defence.
McDonald's up the line. Off hands, Wagner. Erasmus. Now Sherry. Next step, looking to scoot away again. He's got some wheels. But the kick lets him down after the hard work. Steele intercepting. Stepped off his line, according to the umpire, so had to go. Now Sharp. How can they get going forward? Cozzy Pickett into the back, didn't get the elevation he was searching for. Myercheck will mop it up and rolls it goalward, but near side.
Well done by Cozzy just to get that to ground. There's some of the crowd think that was a free kick, and it may have been called so on a different day, but again, it's that blast kick inside 50. There's options out. Melbourne's midfield just got to lower their eyes a fraction.
Clark, long clearing ball, and as far as Big Max.
Or put Max down there.
Yeah. Another high blast inside. Fremantle come from the side. Ryan makes it look like he's trying to get rid of the football. Clark does well to keep it in. Hacks it round the corner. Over the top of Tracy. Jaff. Clean. 30 from home. Pearce with strength. Sharp does well to bring it to ground. Bolton streams through the contest. Langdon keeps it in front of himself. Here's Cozzy, picks it up. Whips it back to Tolstrup. By hand, Fritsch. Fremantle with all the answers in defence, and they'll run it out.
So wrong with a handball. And this is where they've looked lethal. Sherry going to get it and go. Voss treading water. Holds it up and finds Bolton.
Tracy's got Howes at full back at the moment. There's a definite size mismatch there if they step forward.
Donald's got that option over the top. And Driscoll is urged to go. He pulls the kick back inside. And misses Sherry over the top, split between a couple of Dockers, and the Demons can come back the other one. Well, Brayshaw's just off the bench, and he read it to perfection. He impacted the play. It's cleared by Tolstrup, who did well. Pearce back with courage, and front on contact will be the call. No interference either way. It was a free kick going the way of the Demons.
Fitch needs to go back over the mark.
Definitely a free kick there, though. Really professional one from Alex Pearce. Slowed the play right down here. You can see all those numbers that have got back now. From Darcy plonking himself at the top of the 50-metre arc.
7th disposal for Fritsch and a goal. Howes spits it out wide to Lever. Just got some room on Chapman.
Let's see if he can think his way through this.
Back to Rivers.
A lot of numbers, a long way away from the ball. As it shifted back, the Melbourne forwards haven't come and readjusted.
Very wide for the Demons. Won't work out though. Langdon, nice little step. Left foot inside towards Pickett. Erasmus be under pressure from that man. Taps it back to his team's advantage. Tolstrup out to Sparrow. Snapping on the angle. Finishes nicely. They break a run of 6 straight to the Demons.
Well, it's hard work. There's no doubt about that. Fighting and scrapping inside forward 50 at ground level there. Just see the work of 3 or 4 at ground level just to shovel it forward. Cosy just dragging it back. 2 or 3 quick handballs and a quality finish in the end. They worked hard for that one.
Just relying too much on scoring through contest rather than pure play or uncontested play. I think that's not conducive to high scoring, which is where Melbourne's mindset needs to be at the moment. 48 points down here in that third quarter.
Back in the centre we go, and smashed away. Sarong's handball. Driscoll paddled it back, had the support of Warner. Brayshaw headed in the wrong direction, and now over the top to O'Driscoll. Loves to run and carry. Warner involved again. Back for Brayshaw, who's racking them up. 24th disposal on the afternoon. Warner long. Test of strength. Lever and Voss. Voss knocked it down. Lever recovered. Salem. Gone. Through his hands. Working hard. Good pressure from Warner. Brayshaw, active hands. Knocked it down. Sparrow. Over the top, Langford. Not sure where to go. Windsor. Back to Salem. Tries to just scramble it forward. McDonald in the road. Sarong on the boot. High ball. Gawn and Darcy, but Gawn is everywhere.
So good at that, Max Gawn, putting himself in exactly the right spot. Done it for well over a decade now. He's saved Melbourne a lot today.
Surely gets the business class seat in the trip home.
Private for Max.
The Freo by 42 at the first break, 31 at half-time. They kicked 6 either side. And currently lead it by 48 points. Got out to 55. Langford, sharp, no room to move. Just tried to hand it to Windsor. Bolton had other ideas. Takes a quick bounce. And another one. Assesses. Wants someone to come towards him on the lead. Kicks on the 45 to no one in particular. Might work out though. O'Driscoll. Brayshaw. Short. Look for Voss. Didn't quite work out as he had picked it in his mind.
Just a little knock on Shea Bolton there. Sometimes he can just lean back a little bit when he has a couple of bounces and looks to chisel one inside. Seen that fantastic goal from him. Would have loved to have seen him spot someone up there.
Starting to approach three-quarter time. Darcy front position. Bolton on the burst. Oh, he's trying to go through that stoppage. Looks so dangerous.
He looked aggressive, didn't he? He's up and about today. Is Shea. A big day. 22 disposals, 7 score involvements, a couple of goals, and every forward 50 stoppage he's on the fly.
Down Down to the front again. Ross this time trying to rope it. Cleared a path. Sarong so clean down low. The quick snap. That is sensational work at a stoppage from Caleb Sarong. It hasn't been his day, but he picked his moment.
And what you'll see here is Bolton put on a block for Sarong. Terrific. Just puts a little block on, causes a bit of a confusion. Tholstrup gives up, and Sarong just hunts the footy. He can't believe it, Tholstrup. He points to his teammate and says, "Didn't you go with him? What's going on?" That's the beauty of team-first football from Bolton there. Outstanding.
That's great vision on the Harvey Norman replay there. The superstars coming together. That's what you got when you got multiple weapons at forward 50 stoppage. You got the ability to someone could go, someone blocks the second time around.
I think it's deeper than that. I mean, it's having a team-first mentality. I don't think that's said about Bolton that often. So to see his star factor player clamped with a tag and go to help, terrific.
54 points now, Fremantle looking to really inflict some damage. Erasmus didn't quite get it back. Reed dumped from Pickett. Lindsay, check side round the corner. Oh, he's tried hard all day, just handed to Pickett. Look at the speed, takes a bounce, and then just kicked straight to the Dockers and Chapman. Unusual use of the ball. Fremantle escape once again.
So exciting, Latrell Pickett. You can sense even the Freo fans were excited when he gets the ball. Just little finishing things that'll come when he plays more footy.
Jackson and Gawn grabs it. Scurries it forward, found Sharp. High ball towards the square, Van Rooyen, but Chapman with a big double fist away, and it's celebrated by the Dockers defenders and the fans.
Well, they've gone inside 50 14 times for the term, but most of those kicks inside 50 are to the disadvantage of their fellow forward.
Jackson looked back towards the corridor. Murphy Reid scrubs it out of defence. Tracy's kick 4. The better of Petty. Now Erasmus kicks into the wide open spaces. Lever and the speedster on debut. Gee, picked up some ground there. It's Sherry. He's had a good afternoon. He steps around a couple as well. Gives it back in board. Give it back to him. And he's cooked that. Back towards Erasmus. It's for Tracy. Building nicely here, the Dockers.
He's got a steady here, Josh Tracy. Lots of Melbourne numbers back.
Voss on a lead. Goes in that direction. Voss does well to stand up under the pressure from behind. Sailor needs to get rid of it. Jackson gets him. Threw it away just in time. Let off for the Demons.
The kick goes well wide from Langdon. Out of bounds on the ball. We've got the pressure again. Big tackle here from Jackson. About to see the replay.
That's a throw.
Open-handed handball.
Spoke about those 14 inside 50s for Melbourne. The Dockers have only had 9. They've scored 6 times, so they've been sensational going inside 50.
Chapman loads up. Bit of push and shove early. Melbourne free kick. Petty went to grounds before the footy arrived.
Of course, they lost Turner early, which has really thrown around their key post matchups. And Tracy just looks like marking everything.
He's trying to clear it, but O'Driscoll read it. Came up to the footy as Gawn was waiting to accept it.
Read out.
He looks up and pokes it in towards Jackson off hands. Dudley down low, still got it out. Bolton evasive once, twice, back to Jackson. Dudley off a step. It's another one. Freo on fire.
Shea Bolton involved again. You mentioned Josh Tracy. He's the other player that's absolutely dominated this game here. Here's that free kick on Harrison Petty. Certainly there. Fremantle just able to turn the ball over again. And they look so damaging at ground level here. It's Dudley first, clean. Missed tackles, he's able to get it out. Bolton with a little bit of magic. And you're right, King, it's become a part of his game to share the ball inside 50.
Got so much growth to come from that next level. of players, Freo. I mean, Dudley's become a really important player for them. If you can hit the scoreboard like this, he hasn't played 20 games yet. I look at Warner, his growth over the last 6 months, 12 months. Wagner, he's just short of 60 games. There's scope for these guys.
Double to Dudley, came across in the sandfield, kicked 2 on debut. Murphy Reid drives it forward. Stepping through again, Dudley off the outside of the boot. They love him in the West, he's got 3, the little man. Brings people through the gates.
What about this? The crowd have just absolutely gone ballistic. Isaiah Dudley got a little shimmy step as well in there, Kingy, when he gets the ball.
I love him.
He is fantastic. His feet are so fast. As soon as he turns around here, you can see he's hunting that ball, tracking it, pops up nicely, and as soon as he stepped out there, little check side, he was off to the pocket to celebrate with his big key forward. Fancy little feet. He knew it was going straight through. Becoming bankable for at least a couple of goals a game, Isaiah Dudley. Just pops up in the right spot. Doesn't have high possessions, but he's had a night tonight.
Pre-season pick-up before last season. He's kicked 3 goals in a quarter in this third term. As the Dockers go forward, Murphy Reid. He left 2 Melbourne players to clatter into each other as he won the footy. Bolton and Voss almost just dropped it. It's rushed through.
Because he went to get Reid, missed him and got Salem. They're having that type of night.
Back to Lever. Runs the overlap.
They have that edge about you, I think, to be a real contender in this competition, a ruthless edge. They want to dominate the opposition in every facet for as long as you can.
Through the hands of Gawn.
Just wonder what the approach will be, Howie, to the last quarter. I mean, we're looking at 67 points. Do they charge for the 100? Do they really want to make a statement here tonight, or they just coast?
He came off a boot, so it was a lasso free kick. Last disposal. Aussie pick it forward to Steele. Balls the kick in short, but Ryan read it the best.
A long entry.
It's been good, hasn't he, tonight?
Just gives them an element of steadiness behind the ball.
115 for Brayshaw. And has responded in a big way this week. Gawn gets back with the spoil. The third term certainly belonged to Fremantle as they put the foot down again. And they showed just how quickly they can score when they flow. Josh Tracy on fire, Dudley with 3 goals in the term, and they turn for home, 67 points to the good.
All right, there we go. 3/4 time. The Dockers are back in town. Hey, Bobble, how you going? Bob and Bell on 3-2. What's happening? G'day. Yeah, Freo are going fantastic. I tell you what, that third quarter I felt was more impressive than their first quarter. They kicked 7 goals, 2 in that third term. Melbourne only 1 goal, 2. But gee whiz, they were just electric. They had speed on the ball everywhere they went. Isaiah Dudley, wow, showing some magic. Shy Bolton showing some magic. And of course, I tell you what, it's great to see them playing team game and not just me game. That certainly, for me, I think Shy Bolton's just about got the 3 votes so far in this game. Be interesting to see if we go back on Brownlow Medal night, come back to this game and see who got the votes. But so far, I think Shy Bolton. Maybe they'll think Tracy, but I tell you what, Bolts is going fantastic. All right, let's just have a look at the goal scorers. There we go. Josh Tracy, top on the table. He's got 4 straight goals he's kicking straight from his 8 kicks. Isaiah Dudley, didn't he kick a couple of ring-a-ding-ding goals in that third term? He's on 3 goals, 1 from his 8 kicks. Tell you what, the crowd love him. He's a Freo favourite for sure. Isaiah Dudley's only a pocket rocket. There you go. Murphy Reid has got 2. Shy Bolton, as I said, he's got 2. 24 disposals. Well done. Best game I've seen him play since he's been at the Dockers. Paddy Voss. Schwitkowski has got one. Caleb Sarong bobbed up with one in that third term. Matty Johnson and Brayshaw also singles for Melbourne. Only single goal scorers there. Not many of them. Tom Sparrow, Harry Sharp, Pickett, Brodie Myercheck, Ed Langdon and Bailey Fritsch. I call him the Muppet Man because he looks like one of the Muppets, Bailey Fritz. There we go with his nice hairdo. Let's have a look at the disposal magnets. Andy Brayshaw, 28. Christian, 11 and 17. 3 marks, 2 tackles, a clearance and a goal. It's not too bad. He's doing a workman-like game out there today. Not too bad. Christian Salem, 24 touches there for the Ds. 22 kicks, 2 handballs, 6 marks. Ashai Bolton, though, 24 disposals, 12 kicks, 12 handballs. 24. One of them just got a possession taken off him, or Shai got one put on. 24, 12 and 12, 3 marks, 3 tackles, 7 clearances, 2 goal, 1. Best on ground, I think, at the present time, Jordan Clark, 22. Jack Steele, 22 for Melbourne. Maxi Gawn, I tell you what, he's finding it a little tough out there, but he's always working hard. 18 touches, 12 kicks, 6 handballs, 10 marks, doing some nice intercept marks down back there. 19 hit out, 6 clearances for big Maxi Gawn. Of course, who's the other great player, I think, who's going to be an absolute star in the future? Murphy Reid for the Freo Dockers, 16 touches, couple clearances, couple of goals. He's going really, really well there for Freo. Ed Langdon, 16 touches there for Melbourne, 1 goal, 1. There we go. Let's just roll on down. Lukey Jackson, if you're looking for him, he's had 14 touches, 6 kicks, 8 handballs, just the 1 mark, 2 tackles, 12 hit-outs, 4 clearances. Unlike him not to have kicked a sausage roll, but he has got a couple of behinds. Josh Tracy, 13 disposals, 8 kicks, 4 straight goals. He's doing really, really well. Kicking straight as a die. Did a lot of work in there. Paddy Voss, the prancing pony, he hasn't been able to prance down the turf there since quarter time. Just a 9 disposals, 6 kicks, 3 handballs, 1 goal, 1 for him. All right, let's head back down to the action. We'll head back down to the commentators. And then they'll take us into the final quarter. Wow, Fremantle Dockers, can they extend their lead? 67 points is the margin, 3/4 time. Let's head back to the commentators and they'll take us into the final quarter.
Form of this team. So, yeah, the crowd's loving it. It's really good to watch, and we're excited by it.
And perhaps a little bit of relief from Freo fans as well. They know what happened last week in Geelong. You told us that Andrew Brayshaw referenced it to the group as they walked off at halftime. We're not going to let what happened in Geelong happen again here today. So seeing them really try to put the game to bed in that third quarter was pleasing for Fremantle fans. And one man who certainly leads the way on field is Josh Tracy. He's got all the leadership qualities about him, but it's his aggression. I mean, even David King said in the call, he's got the greatest presence inside 50 in the competition.
Yeah, I think it's spot on. I think he's one of the best key forwards in the comp. I think he'll be Freo's next captain, the way I look at him, the way he plays his footy, his presence, his physicality. It's not just kicking goals either. The way he shrugs tackles, the ground ball he took on the wing, some of these marks, they're massive, and the players respond to how he is. I mentioned during the coverage, it's a great story, Josh Tracy, what he's done. Non-drafted, a rookie draft, and comes through and does this. He's had 9 score involvements tonight. He averages just 7 against Melbourne, which is the most against any side. He's been incredible so far. He's had a huge night, loves playing against the Demons.
That trend is continuing. Well, the players have enjoyed a longer break than usual. The heat policy is in place for today, given we did reach a top of 31 degrees in Perth today, looking like it will be also in place tomorrow for Sunday afternoon footy between West Coast and North Melbourne. But it's all about Fremantle right now, as I throw it up to you, David King. You wanted to have a look at the forward 50 entries from both the Melbourne and Fremantle perspective.
Yeah, because both teams are getting high volume opportunities. Melbourne 15 inside 50s for the third term, Fremantle 13, but it's that last kick going in that is separating the game. Clearly they've got better options or better targets. We talked a lot about Josh Tracy, but it's the style of kick when you're out, you've got an opportunity to really level and lower a kick in here to the path of Fritsch, or even look at Cully. But that kick there, that high ball, is to the advantage of the Fremantle defender. And that's why they were able to take 12 clean intercepts from 15 entries from Melbourne. The ball transitions and goes the other way. And you see a similar style of entry to the advantage of the Fremantle forward. Now, it's Tracy again. As we said, he's been involved in everything. But as soon as he lifts his eyes, Chapman, he says he wants it high, and I'm going to put it on top of the Melbourne defender's head and give him a clean jump. That's why they've been able to inflict the damage on the scoreboard. 7 goals to 1 in that quarter. Melbourne falling back into old habits.
I've loved Shea Bolton's game, and I think he's obviously had all the possessions and done all the special things, but for him to go to the next level as a player, and for Freo to go to the next level of the team, it's little things like this. Shea Bolton, one of the most electric players at forward 50 stoppage, but does the selfless act here to block the Caleb Sarong, who's been well held by Tolstrup tonight. Just the little things. And Sarong finds himself in the right place at the right time and gets a really important goal. When you're having a down night like that, as Sarong has had, a small goal like that is just a little win. The big question here, though, King, is can they put the foot on the throat and win? JL comes across as very risk-adverse. I'd love to see them go all-out attack here.
Final quarter underway in the West. Fremantle pouncing onto it. Sarong tapped it back to Brayshaw with a high kick to the 50. Voss in front. Spoil came from Lever. Voss on the follow. Away to Bolton. On the burst yet again. They've got a real feel for it. And Tracy takes another mark. The Stars all getting involved, and they're looking to cash in.
Harrison Petty looks all at sea at the moment, standing in front of Josh Tracy. Been nudged under the ball multiple times tonight. Not reading it off the boot. Tracy having an absolute night.
Looking to take his game to a new level in season 2026. Josh Tracy absolutely bellies that one.
Just love to see him stand maybe a little bit closer to the mark there. You can sort of get out at least 2 or 3 steps there before the pressure comes, really open up that angle. Sort of just relying on the one-step kick. That's what happens when you belly those ones.
Kick 4 for the evening so far, Tracy. Through the hands of Van Rooyen, didn't expect it. Come back with interest now. Dudley kick 3 in the third term alone. Chain of hand pass. Voss had runners, including Dudley, on the inside, but elected to blaze and got a touch skinny.
So that's some opportunities tonight, Patrick Voss, to maybe be a better teammate, pass it off. Engaged in the game very early on the lip. Hasn't had a great night tonight.
Rivers to bring the ball back in. Now to half back. It's a nice mark to Cully. Last week he's got some skills in the air. Slides that kick through. Check with a long ball inside 50. I've got some numbers down here. Fritsch brought it to ground. Sharp can mop up the work and snaps a good goal.
Well, he had to kick it. He had to kick it because he completely cindered a teammate who was running towards the goal square unopposed. Good finish in the end. Good fast transition. Take the risk. Take the contest forward of the ball. It was Myercheck on that occasion who wrapped back around, just created a contest. Fritsch was it. And then you can see here, easy handball over the top, so strolling goal. Kicks it on the left. All's forgiven.
Obviously, at home game, well, that was a long kick inside 50, but because the ball had moved so fast from the D50 end, is that you get a pure one-on-one, and that is the opportunity to take those longer kicks inside 50, where you do have low numbers and your forwards have a better chance of making something out of it. Myercheck understanding that it bypassed a lot of the Fremantle defence and got it straight in there.
He touches a couple of goals for Harry Sharp. Bolton sweeps a nice hand pass to Brayshaw. Possession number 31. Out in front of the pacey Sherry. Putting back his pace throughout the evening. Just missing on the inside, Brayshaw. Langdon with the pressure. Now Cully. Steele. Better build up for the Demons. Fritsch has got runners, places it in the path of Sharp, just too much. Harry tracks it. Turns back on the inside. Centering ball was clever. Fist came in the end from McDonald. And Freo exit D50.
Mark finds O'Driscoll. There's that kick inboard to Sarong. Starting to get a bit busier. Goes aggressively to Sherry through the middle, but Rivers was in the road. Good eye contact there too. Melbourne go aggressively. A good kick to Steele. Now Chandler. Get out onto that left boot. Looking back to goal. That's a delightful finish. And the D's kick a couple in a row.
Just that kick back into the corridor was an absolute peach. Just opened the full field. Rivers it was. We saw Steele unopposed at centre-half forward and took the risk. Good turnover here, got back quickly. Turned, assessed straight away. Yep, we've got one out, let's go. And that's become footy in 2026.
Got to know your oppo as well. Left footer. Warner came in. He's made an error. You know, that Chandler probably doesn't have the best kick on his right foot there. Was always going to step outside. Over-committed with the tackle. Gave him that kicking lane to run through 50.
It's rolling up to 13 now. He's worked through the tag of Tolstrup to kick the goal as well. Chandler, by hand, making two of the turn for the Demons. O'Driscoll, caught by Sparrow. Donald tight down the full.
It's the lateral discussion. We're seeing soft tissue injuries across the competition at the moment. I'd be taking no risk with my star factor players if I was Freo in this last term.
Kick inside 50. Corn Swamp, Chapman the spoil. Knocked away from Chandler. Bolton, Brayshaw. Reed couldn't take it. Trell Pickett went down low. Clattered. And there's a free kick, I think, paid by the umpire off the play for over the shoulder. Vantage wasn't really there as they continue to scramble after the footy.
It's an interesting contest, that one there, because you could make a case for maybe contact below the knees as well.
I'd have Sarong playing 10 minutes of this quarter. Brayshaw the same. Jackson lucky to be 10.
Dawn. Zion Pickett knocked it on. Warner, Brayshaw, Bolton. Up the line. Melbourne have it covered. And Lever takes a nice intercept.
Freo got Richmond next at home. Melbourne taking Carlton. Pickett with a rare bit of space. Chips it forward. Letting them run, as you would expect, all evening. Sends it deep to the square. Too easy, though, for the Fremantle defence. Ryan with the body and the mark. In the end, taken by Carl Warner.
Jaff read it nicely. Got to the front. Get a repeat entry for the Demons. Van Rooyen able to hang on with a tougher night tonight after such a good game last week with a career high. Chance to kick one late here if he can go back from outside 50.
Yeah, he's got this in him. It's the 4 marks tonight.
He's been able to get his hands to them. He just hasn't been able to hold them tonight. He's dropped a couple of absolute sitters. It's been important for his confidence.
And the West Aussies in the Demons lineup. Jacob Van Rooyen. 6 goals won last week. Flourishing key forward for the Demons. It'll fall in short. The pack was up and out the back, Max. He just went the wrong side of the post. Couldn't believe it fell in his lap.
Like him forward, Max.
Not seeing the ruthless Fremantle are after kicking. They've given up the opening 2 goals of the final term.
Yeah, and it can happen in games like this. You can sometimes go into self-preservation mode. I just think sometimes the coach can take that off the table. You're only going to play 10 minutes this quarter and getting you out of the game. At least you get a rotation or 2 for the young guys through the middle as well.
Watching Sean Darcy v Max Gawn. Max Gawn clearly one of the best ruckmans of the last decade, but Sean's really struggling to cover the ground at the moment. Max is trying to stretch him. You can see them getting to this contest late.
A long way across the rucks have to go to get there. So, on the shoulder to shoulder. Gawn the hit out. Reed at the stoppage. What a releasing handball as he was spinning out of pressure. And Bolton just looks back over his shoulder and forgot about the footy, but he's still able to take it. Cannonball run through, but he came up with the Sharon, and now Wagner will find Tracy.
They're out everywhere here if Tracy turns.
2 in the goal square to pick from. He goes wider for Voss. Well done by Jaff. Got back. Brayshaw continues to put the pressure on. Voss with a monster of a tackle. And now he's trying to lift Langdon up over his shoulder.
It's a tombstone.
The strongest man in the AFL. Going to new heights. We've seen him in the gym. Now he's doing it on the field.
Or was it 200 kilos?
It's
300 maybe.
knocked away, gone. Brayshaw. You hear about players putting the team on their shoulders, not usually the opposition. There's Rivers. Gully down, Chandler. Sherry hunting after the footy. Wagner. Back for Ryan, and they will retreat to Chapman. He'll go in short. Slipping and sliding was Murphy Reid. Bolton's been everywhere. Sparrow, Chandler, Langdon, Melbourne, Latrell Pickett. Langdon over the top, just about threw it forward, hoping for Cozzy Pickett. Murphy Reid always cool in a crisis. Amos over the top, missed with a handball. Good tackle from Reid, Satan's handball, excellent. Found Langdon. Forward now to Sharp. He'll turn and go long into the pocket. Fritsch. And the lunging spoil there was awkward from Warner. He's taken the mark, got the free kick and got one for his trouble. It's a frenetic passage of play.
It's a genuine ear massage down there, bottom right.
Fingers tactics, Scully as Fritsch steps out. And he puts it across the face. Disappointed he couldn't convert. Look at this again.
I felt like I was watching Monday Night Raw here. The Rock and Triple H.
Going for the suplex.
I was worried what was going to happen here.
I thought he was going to put him over the fence.
Sort of like showed him to the crowd a little bit too, didn't he? Branson Coney's a good name for a wrestler too, I reckon.
Back in the middle of the ground. Sherry. Nice start for his career. Up to 18 disposals. Look at the speed on him. Takes a few bounces. Now to Voss. Centering ball is beautiful football from the Dockers.
Gee, I love the game of Sherry. 18 disposals, 5 scoring involvements. This will be number 6. It's been terrific how he called it spot on. He put the Jets on. He nearly had him for pace. They've found one here.
He was unselfish. Part of me would like to see a fourth bounce and a first career goal.
Won't be far away, I don't think.
Brayshaw kicked the opening goal. He's had 32 disposals. Double inside 50s, 10 score involvements. For a second for the evening. Oof. I don't think he's done wrong all night.
Lever, short to Salem. Get it going from Tolstrup up the line. Jackson's in a good position. Take the high and get the free. Hasn't had to have the same impact as last week with Jackson. Good afternoon against the Cats. 14 disposals. Just the 12 hit-outs. Ball backwards. Right. To Big B. Over to share some stats around as they chip the footy. Brayshaw continues to work hard. This will be disposal number 35.
To Wagner. Tired players out there. Been a warm evening here in the West. Back to Ryan. Late in. And he's hard to take back out of the side, you would think, again tonight. 20 disposals for Ryan. And Turner over here, though. Langdon inboard. Fritsch. Good finish. Winds it round the corner. And 3 in the turn for the Demons.
It's a good finish. It's a good finish from Fritsch. I mean, they've worked hard. Pearce is coming back on. He's been on the bench for 13 minutes.
The runner's on. He's not coming back on, is he?
No, maybe he's not. I saw him stand up. I thought he's come back on. I think that's a wise move. That's what we're talking about. The competition right now has been...
It's a good giveaway.
Hey?
It's a good giveaway. He's got the runners on, but you're right.
We saw Pearce last week. He was on managed minutes at the start of the game. In strange circumstances, they held him off till the 10-minute mark of the first quarter.
Well, it's a long season. You've got to manage the stars. And we talked at the start of the fourth quarter, maybe a bit more Sarong, a bit more Brayshaw, maybe even Bolton, Tracy. But great to see Pearce going to sit the last quarter out.
Demons just bringing the margin back in a touch. And Steele, high kick towards the 50. Warner drifted back.
And a couple of times tonight, Carl Warner. Conversation goes to maybe Melbourne now. Resting Max Gawn, he sits on the bench. So huge in the last half last week against St Kilda.
Out, Bailey! Out, Bailey!
Still their most important player.
Brayshaw, 36 disposals. And towards career territory as he continues to run. Cully over the top. Sarong backs in. Flipped up.
I don't think many teams are going to travel over here and play Fremantle and leave with the 4 points. It's intimidating, the crowd, the way they're playing now, so aggressive, so fast.
Bolton's been a big part of that. Brayshaw gets another disposal. Up towards Erasmus. Tried to fend. Just got a handball out. Sharp. Had a good last quarter. Steele. Sailor. Melbourne building. Up towards Fritsch. It's a better builder. It's an extra couple of metres on the mark. By denying. Goal last week. Only Fritsch 2 so far tonight. He'll get back to his best this season, but that one just a bit outside.
You got to stand. You're in the protected area, mate. No, you did stand.
Only down -4 on inside 50s.
Over the line, come.
Tonight, Melbourne, but it's been that cohesion inside forward 50 in the way they've used the ball.
You.
Chapman spots Erasmus.
Stand. Come.
Forward hand pass. Warner. Left foot floats it in the path of O'Driscoll. He's got men on the 45. Purple jumpers screen forward. Tracy, another beautifully weighted kick to Voss. He's charging after it. Johnson steps, props, goes back. Oh, Dudley could have his fourth, but he didn't get the purchase, the little man. And Howes hacks it out of defence. And well done, Rivers. I think the crowd would have liked to see Dudley snag a fourth.
The cramp set in.
Yeah, he's out of tickets. How's that?
He's been good, Kingy. Been really good.
3 goals in the third term.
Either that or he's just staying in the goal square, which is pretty smart as well.
Murphy Reid. Open space through McVeigh. He just holds things up. Wide into the pocket. Jackson is the target. The early launch and the grab. Well, if Tracy doesn't get you, there's a few options up there.
There's great balance by Luke Jackson in the air. With a player coming back on you like that, you can sort of get your legs taken out from under you. But he sort of used that leg to sort of settle himself up in the air, and then even with Van Rooyen holding on to that one arm there, still able to clunk it. A very, very good weapon going forward for them. Playing a lot of time in the ruck and on ball, but very damaging when he goes forward.
3 years at Melbourne. Rising star winner back in 2021. Return home. This is his 4th season at Fremantle. Really announcing himself to the competition and prime for a big year. Here's Luke Jackson.
Well, he was incredible last week, but this is the option you've got with him. He's so dynamic as a player. You can see the lead up there, and as all good forwards do, then you get in behind your direct opponent. He knows that he's got the space and he knows where he wants the ball. But that is an excellent forward craft going for the mark there. Using that first leg sort of like a tabletop to make sure that you're still balanced when you come down so you can have a second bite at the cherry. Asking the crowd for a bit of noise there too.
This is the weapon they've got inside their forward 50, their ability to win contested possessions. Last week against Geelong, plus 17 on the back six, or the defensive unit of the Cats, and tonight, plus 10 again. They're huge numbers.
It's 4 touches for Darcy tonight. Back in the centre he goes. Chandler run down from behind. Magnificent tackle by Warner. Gets him cold.
Done some good things late, Carl Warner.
So just to put that into perspective, you normally lose contested possessions because you're outnumbered by the defensive outfit. So to be plus 10 on the back of plus 17 last week, massive.
That carry forward tackle close to being a little dangerous. Chandler certainly went forward.
Side saddled him, I reckon, so he was out of his back for mine.
Just rolled at the last second. Up the line they go and gone. Stands tall again. A terrific chase from Warner to win the free kick. He's so careful these days with those chase down tackles. Jaff. Take off. That's a long way too far. Inside his own defensive 50 and coughs up the free kick in the worst possible spot.
Some confusing things tonight. He's just looked rattled, Jaff, for whatever reason. There's been a lot on offer for him when he started meandering, and it just got worse.
Take 10 away. Come back on.
Look how far he travelled.
Yeah, he knew.
Sukowski was calling for it rather than laying the tackle. He knew it was on.
Kicked it up the chimney as well, Jack.
Sukowski, he's not a big goal kicker each season. Plays his role in the side. He's already got one tonight. And they're just wasting a few opportunities in this last term to really put the foot down.
Lever. Low clearing ball. Towards Cully. Stripped away from him. Erasmus. Murphy reads. Switkowski. Clever hand pass.
Free kick to Melbourne.
Whistle. Umpire off the play.
I think it was Josh Tracy or no, Patrick Voss who may have given the free kick.
Pickett. Sparrow. Cully. A foot slider. Doesn't favour Fitch.
44 remaining in the match and 44,000 in the house. 4,736 the attendance. First game of footy in WA for a home and away season.
Alex Pearce is probably the only Freo docker that they've rested here, boys. It was well picked up by you, but Sean Darcy's still out there. Luke Jackson, Shea Bolton's on the bench ready to come back on too.
Down, Cully's there. Darcy reads. Cully on the boot. And one out of bounds on the full.
Still a fascinating discussion, is Sean Darcy and his function, his role in this team. It's the biggest of occasions against Max Gawn. There's no easy task there, but just the 5 disposals probably lowered his colours in the absolute ruck. I think they'd be sitting back saying, okay, we want to give him a fair run at it to see if he can make it, stamp himself and make this position his own. But they do have Mason Cox on the sidelines, breathing down his neck.
Would you be tempted, Kingy?
I think at some stage this year they'll have a look at it.
All reports he's made a very good impression, as you would expect. Mason Cox at the Dockers. Swept forward, Pickett spikes it into the path of Chandler. Got a hand on him as he drove it forward and just put his kick off.
Fremantle have done that well tonight. Just little trailing hands, chases, and to make sure that Melbourne haven't been able to go cleanly through 50 or around the ground. There's a desperation. I'm sure JL would be very happy with that aspect of their game.
So when you look at Melbourne's clearance work tonight, and they've been beaten in there, they've still won 26 clearances, scored just 3 behinds. It's their worst total for a number of seasons, 5 or 6 years.
And Lloyd's handball. Lindsay trying to go past. A lot of tired players out there. Gone out of the ruck. Josiah Pickett in front. That's how to get it done at the stoppage. We'll go back. 14 disposals and a goal in this night so far.
Stay 10 away, please. Come.
67-point margin at three-quarter time. Demons have continued to fight in this final quarter. Can't cash in with a second goal there.
They are in transition as a midfield. We've seen a bit of Langford in the middle, a bit of Pickett in there at times. We saw him in the back half of last year. Windsor's going there a lot. Sparrow's getting more opportunity.
Tracy throws himself forward, looked towards the umpire, wasn't interested. Murphy Reid, sharp hands. Brayshaw, possession number 38. Back to O'Driscoll, still got some run in the legs. They sweep it back to Reid. Brayshaw, they start waxing. Chip and run from Murphy Reid. Strong look to move it by hand, then spread it wide to Ryan. Laid in. He's had 24 disposals. I like your comment about him, Kingy, that he's the type of player the coach hates during summer and loves during winter. Erasmus sends it deep forward, fisted across the line. Just explain that. And his performance today, hard to leave him out again after today.
Well, Scully joined with us here. I mean, he was injured during the off-season. He had a shoulder operation, I think. And then, for whatever reason, some players just they endear themselves to the coach during the summer and some don't. I think he's in the latter bracket, and by about round 2 or 3, you fall back in love with him.
He was actually sick with a virus last weekend as well, so didn't play in the waffle scratch match. To even press his case, came in as the late inclusion today. Chandler trying to escape. Neat step once, twice, and then showed the footy. That's delightful work, and they go up the wing to Myercheck. Melbourne up towards Fritsch. Good hands are out. If he can get it going, Fremantle trying to hold up, but Fritsch will go over the top, and Langdon continues to run.
Out, Oscar, out, protect the area. Out.
This man here will run all day. Langdon, one of the best athletes in the competition.
One in the opening quarter, had himself lifted up over the shoulders of Patrick Voss earlier on in the game. He steps out very easily. No one even really bothering to cover the man stepping out. They all gave up on it as he snaps the goal.
Yeah. He's a guy you can bank on week in, week out to charge up and down those wings and get himself opportunities like this. But there's the changing midfield that we're talking about. There's an evolution going on at Melbourne. It's going to take some time to settle and bed it in. Jack Steele's obviously played a lot of footy. He's played over 200 games, and he's been really good today. He's won 9 clearances. Gawn's won 8. The rest of them haven't really lived up to the promise of the last couple of weeks in Caleb Windsor and Sparrow and even Pickett. So if you have a look at tonight, who's been in at centre bounces, you just get an idea of what's happening. And Stephen King, whilst to be disappointed not to win, you're always disappointed not to get the 4 points, but tough ask coming over here against the souped-up Fremantle Dockers.
Play on!
47 points. Bolton looking to add to that. Take it past 50 again. In chain with Johnson. Bolton, he's driven forward a couple of times. Darcy's there. Just can't hold of the big man. Petty's had a tough night. Dumps it out the full. A couple of forwards racing that direction.
Wow. Yeah, it doesn't help you win best clubman when you do that. Patrick Voss
pushed it out
They're all over him. They're all over him, the umpies.
They've got to give it back.
Yeah.
Tracy will have a crack at number 5.
He's still having a laugh, Patrick Voss.
It's the fastest he's run all night, Patrick Voss.
I think he would have won many debating championships.
Just a couple of opportunities to bring up a 5th.
Oh.
Hooks it round the corner. Glass. Just missing though.
Having a look at that.
That looked pretty good from him.
Out of defence. Long up the wing, ball punched away by Warner. Johnson slapped it on. Sherry continues to go around in the tackle. Cully feeds it inboard to Van Rooyen. Way now to Rivers. Long ball, Ryan in front. Fritsch there, punched by Ryan. Demons at the spill. Desire Pickett just too strong, and then throwing the legs out was Erasmus. It's knocked away McVee. And Langford. Pickett's back into it again. Desire Pickett arcing around as the seconds tick down. Wins up. They get the mark just before. No, that will do it. And Fremantle send a statement. Flying out of the blocks again. They pick up their first win of season 2026 over the Demons by 48 points.
Dominating performance there by the Fremantle Dockers. Bouncing back after that 10-point loss to Geelong last week on the road. Back here at Optus Stadium, and they are going to be a very, very tough team to beat here at Optus. No Hayden Young tonight. That man there, Luke Ryan, was a late in, but their stars stood up. Andrew Brayshaw, 39 disposals. 10 score involvement. Shea Bolton, arguably the best player on the ground there with 32 disposals. He had 9 clearances to go with that and 10 inside 50s. And our man down on the ground, Will Schofield, as Andrew Brayshaw.
I do. Mates, how was that? Good win? Crowd was good around it. How'd you feel?
Yeah, we started really well, and unlike last week, we were able to just keep the foot on the throat, play for our footy for almost 4 quarters. It's really exciting when you play like that.
Spoke to your coach at half-time. He was a little bit aggravated by your second quarter, I think, specifically. Did you touch on that in the rooms?
Yeah, we did. They got the game looking a bit more like a contest in the second quarter, a bit of an arm wrestle. But I think, we stuck to our guns with our defence and our contest and just let our ball movement come from that. So, I think you'll be happy with that second half.
How much did you talk about last week? I heard you speaking to the boys as you went off the ground. Was it something internally as a playing group you didn't want to happen again?
I mean, to be honest, at half-time we were in a very similar spot to last week. But last week we had our heads down, we really flooded ourselves. So I was just saying, boys, we're in a really good spot. We're up by 5 goals. Have a smile on your face, keep playing our way, and we did.
Good. What about your game, mate? You had 14 touches last week, 39, so you've done a little bit better than last week. How did it feel?
I'm just happy to get a win. The leaders, as one of the leaders, I was really disappointed with my performance last week. So to have a really strong Monday to Friday and then come out here tonight in front of our crowd and play my brand of footy, I was really happy with it.
Caleb had a pretty tight tag today. How'd you handle that inside? Was there anything different you tried to do in there?
He was just super selfless all day. He was opening up so much room for us, and that's probably one of the reasons why I was able to get a fair bit of it. He was just running selfless patterns, opening the game up for us, and I think that's why we got on top inside.
Are you doing anything differently at the start of games? The first 2 games of this year, you've started pretty well, over 100 points between them. Anything different internally?
We're trying to take the game on a little bit more, have a little bit more fun. We feel like the list is in a really good spot. And if we can just get our defence and contest right, our ball movement looks sleek.
What about your first gamer today, Sherry? You looked weak. It looked like you boys really embraced him as a footy club too.
He's a gun. Comes from a really good family. He's got such a big crew here that would love to see him play tonight. So he looked really composed, looked ready to go at the level. So he'll be in for a while, I reckon.
Okay, well done, mate. Enjoy the win.
Thanks, mate.
Straight into this man, Josh Tracy. Josh, congratulations. Couldn't quite get the 5 goals, but knowing you'd be happy with the win.
Yeah, absolutely. To bounce back at home and for other fans and knowing we've got a couple of weeks at home is always nice.
How was the forward line functioning? You must be happy with how the boys are starting last week and this week.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I suppose there's a bit of a grey area in our game last few years. So, to jump into the games we had the last 2 weeks is really positive. So, a few things to tidy up throughout the game as it goes on, but we'll take that for what it is.
How are you feeling? You look like you've gone to a new level, in my opinion, of the footy I've seen from you so far this year. How are you feeling in yourself?
Yeah, physically really good. I feel like I'm running and jumping to the ball really well, and jumping at my opportunities when I can. So I continue to cover the ground and work with the other two big boys.
What's the focuses for you out there? Do you want to be physical? Do you want to be aggressive? Tell me what you go into games thinking.
I think it changes week to week, to be honest, depending on the opponent. Yeah, I'd like to think that I bring all of them every week, and regardless of who I'm playing on. Yeah, if I can cover the ground as good as I can and be physical at the same time, it's going to hold me in a good spot.
Can we talk about a couple of your teammates? Patrick Voss, I'm not sure if he was trying some sort of DDT move down in the pocket there. What's happening? Is he well?
I don't think he would know what's going on, and I don't reckon he'd be able to answer it, so that's all I've got for you.
So we're just having a look at it on the coverage at the moment. So he had, I think, Ed Langdon up over his head. Does he do that in the gym?
I think it was a bit of carry on towards the end. He must have heard the crowd give it to him, so yeah, I reckon he needs a bit of carry on then.
And what about Isaiah Dudley, mate? He looks like I think he looks fitter, he looks faster. He plays an important role in the team.
Yeah, and I think how he's gotten into the game by pressure and relentless in the opposition, and he's getting his looks off that, and then front and centre at our feet is great.
Yeah. And the midfield, Shea Bolton's mix, that was one of the better games I've seen play in purple. How are you seeing him?
Yeah, same thing, I reckon. Like defensively, get himself into the game, get himself to really good spots, and then offensively, we're getting out on the outside teams.
Okay, well done, mate. Enjoy the win. Great leadership and good job.
Thank you, mate.
Josh Tracy there with Will Schofield, and he's looks set for a big season. That Patrick Voss, once you get back in.
Is he well was the question. Is he well?
He's very entertaining. I've never seen anything like that on the field, where you just literally pick up the opposition player,
well, if you look at the
place
crowd,
them over the boundary line.
The crowd went bananas. I think he hasn't kicked a goal tonight. He's kicked one goal tonight, Patrick Voss. And let's have another look at it, because if you have a look at the crowd, this is the most excited they got all night. As soon as he's picked up Ed Langan here, and he sensed that he didn't. He had him up there, and then he threw the hand under the hips to go to the wide shot. The crowd went absolutely bananas there. And I think Josh Tracy's right. He sensed that the crowd were up, perhaps, and look at them behind there. They're cheering.
What name are we giving it? Is that the Ponyplex? Is it the Pony Press?
I think it's, the Pony Press is a good one there, perhaps. But, I mean, he's a showman. He lives and dies by the sword, Patrick Voss. You get the best of him, and sometimes you get the worst of him. We probably saw every bit of that tonight, but I think we saw the best of Fremantle. They were exciting. They had them there for an absolute kill tonight. Melbourne have still only come away 48-point losers, and I mean, this was sort of sniffing around a potential 100-point loss for a bit there in that last quarter. Melbourne probably got the better of Fremantle, and inside 50s tells the tale of that. 17-10, 4 goals 4 to only 1 goal 3 for Fremantle. So a little bit there for Justin Longmuir to look at. Obviously rested Alex Pearce late in that last quarter. If you look at that run for Fremantle, there are some big opportunities there. They'll obviously play the Tigers here next week, Adelaide away, Collingwood at Gather Round, and then the Derby. Is it you call it the Derby?
You did very well.
Very right.
I'm proud of you.
Happy with that. And that's obviously a game that everyone here in Western Australia looks forward to. But they are very happy winners tonight with their first win on the board for season 2026. And they certainly do look like one of the most potentially damaging sides that's going around.
Going back through the locker room, which is unique here at Optus Stadium after a win, where they get to celebrate it with the fans. And a bit of relief in it too after the fade out last week, just to get the first win on the board for this season. Big expectations on the Dockers this year after bowing out in an elimination final here at home last season. I'll be thinking that they're aiming around the top 4 and how high they can finish. They load up in the middle. Winners by 48 points. Well, Fremantle with a 48-point win. They will be celebrating with plenty coming up today. We'll be back to analyse summarise all of it. The Suns, lots of injury carnage. Christian Petrarca there at the G. Taru was rising high for the Saints. An absolute thriller it was at NG Stadium after the lightning delay. It's been a big Super Saturday. We'll look at it all next.